Yeah, Prophet Marshall Occurrence. So this is part two of the war, this official declaration of spiritual warfare against the Americans. The official declaration of spiritual warfare against the American community, not just the American government, the American community, because ignorant people are just as involved as the government. So I'm not one of those anti-government people. If you notice that, I'm not anti-government um, because I see all the problems everywhere. As far as I go, black people started problems. As far as I go, so imagine me being anti-government when everything I'm really the foundation of what I'm going through is based off community. So that's what separates me from other people. Okay, maybe the foundation of your problem is the government, not mine. Foundation of my problem is community. Okay, so with that foundation and the understanding of that foundation, um, when I say it's official spiritual warfare, it's an official declaration of spiritual warfare against the Americans. That includes community, because people think when you talk like me, you're against government. No, it's the whole American problem. It's a whole American problem, buddy, and you ain't gonna solve it with the government. Because, like I explained, you could give all this community uh, money, and they ain't gonna change. That's how far gone it's gone. It's that far gone. You can give them all the money you want. They ain't gonna change. Money ain't gonna change these people. Do you think money gonna clean up the streets? No. Money is not gonna clean up the streets. So it's basically hopeless. If money can't do it, what can do it? Let's just say outside of spirituality. What can clean up the streets? What's gonna clean up the streets? Nothing. So it's hopeless. That's where it's at. So where I'm at is striving against a hopeless community. See, once you realize it's a hopeless community, you strive against it. You strive against a hopeless community. And then you get hope, a whole different type of hope. You evolve as far as hope, where you no longer have hope in this American community. You have hope in God, and you have hope in your survival, your individual survival. No longer hoping for this community to get better, because you have come to terms with the fact that it's hopeless. Okay, you ain't struggling with it. Like I like to say, you ain't fighting the feeling. You know what I'm saying? You're not fighting the feeling that it's a hopeless situation because of the mentality of the people. The mentality of the people is gone. It's over. Ain't no need to sit here and act like it's some hope that ain't coming. It ain't no hope. You just biased towards the American community, and there is no hope. So I'm not struggling with it. I have come to terms with it. And I have hope in my survival and hope in God. First, hope in God and hope in my survival. And that's that. That's where you put all your energy at. Being vigorous in your hope in God and vigorous in your hope to survive yourself. No longer placing hope in America. See, it frees you. Now you ain't struggling with or carrying the burden of what's going on in the world and all this stuff that's going on. You ain't carrying them burdens no more. You ain't carrying that dead weight. A dead weight of a community that ain't gonna change. You ain't carrying that dead weight no more. You ain't carrying that burden. You're free. Because now, all you focused on is the hope of your survival. And foundationally, your hope in God. That's all you focused on. You're not focused on hope for this community. And see, I'm going to do a whole message on this. I'm going to do a whole campaign on this. Because we no longer need to focus on hope for this community. Okay, it's no more hope in this community. So we're not focused on them. We're not trying to, and that's another thing. We're not trying to, um, we're not trying to talk to these people about their community and everything like that. We're not trying to help them and help them get through their community or nothing. I'm stopping all that talk because it ain't no need to talk about what we could do. It ain't no need to talk about how far what we can do as a community. I did it enough for you to see my potential as a leader, and now that's the checkmate. That's what you lost. But now that we see it for what it is. Why sit up and live in this capsule of pastime where we're acting like we're gonna do something for this community. We're not gonna do it. That's how you know I ain't fake. Because I could show you all my goods and lead you along as a people, acting like I'm gonna be your leader and just Jedi mind trick you, and then the world just end. But I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna give you no false hope, and that's the punchline. I don't give people false hope. And so many Christians gotta make sure you're not giving people false hope. Make sure you're not giving people false hope out here. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just saying stuff based on your own hope, but your hope is not connected to reality and understanding of reality. How you know hope is gone for America specifically is because the mindset of the people is gone. And that includes not just black people. That's the first thing you're going to think is the hood, the ghetto, and all this stuff going on. I'm talking about white people too. They mind gone. They mindset, man, of in all various different kinds of ways is gone. It's not right. And they mindset is gone. And just basically America. So it's no longer trying to fight the feeling of it being a hopeless community. It is a hopeless community. And how I prove that is the mentality of the people. It's gone. You can't retrieve it back. You can't make it go backwards. You can't make a mentality go backwards. It's not going to go backwards. See what I mean, right? Okay. So their mindset ain't going to go backwards. So it's no need to sit here and act and feed you false hope, because that's what we will be doing as far as January. As of January 11, 2026, I don't feed people false hopes. I don't feed people false hope. Okay, you realize I'm not your play toy. I mean, that's the best karma I got so far. God showed people he's not no plaything. I'm not your plaything. You got everything back that you did to me. I'm not your plaything, buddy. And how we prove that is how we prove you playing yourself. Because look at your country. That's how we prove you're playing yourself. And that's that. You know what I'm saying? Now you can live in a fantasy world like I'm your plaything and you think you playing with me, but look at your country. You ain't playing with me, buddy. You playing yourself. That's what you're doing. You playing with yourself, if anything. So we're talking about the official declaration of spiritual warfare against the Americans. Okay, and you might as well just say the American community, because basically that's what it is. Collective community of this country. No matter what position they play, no matter what position they got in this country, that's what the situation is. And my justification for that is all the psychological games they use these people for. They used everybody. They used the grocery stores, they used the department stores, they used the bodegas, they used the phone places, everything. So what we gonna do? We're gonna declare an official declaration of spiritual warfare against the United States of America. That's what it is. Okay, now if I was a clown, I'd sit here and play along with you. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is go into, for Christians, I'm gonna go into the Bible and show you how we're justified in war. Because it's a lot of people that's confused about the times we live in. You're confused about me. And I'm gonna show you that in the Bible there was war. And so the misinterpretation that's in America specifically, that we'll never fight against flesh and blood. See, that's the informal interpretation. We fight. It doesn't say we fight. It says we wrestle, not against flesh and blood. It don't say we fight not against flesh and blood. So that one word, when you look up wrestle in the Hebrew and the Greek, it's one definition. It's not all definitions of combat and warfare. So it's only one type of definition. While there's other dynamics of war that it does not cover in that definition. And how we know that for sure is because when you go to the Old Testament, you see all these wars. So where's we don't fight against flesh and blood like you would put it. Where is it there? Where is it at there? It's nowhere. We fought against human beings. Whoever wanted it, that's who got it. Without a bias. Whoever wanted it, that's who got it. And this situation is no different. Whoever wanted it is going to get it. And I don't care if they black, I don't care if they white, I don't care if they Hispanic or Latino. Whoever wanted war is going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. Okay? So what I'm going to be doing is taking you through the Bible and showing you, like, what I'm going to do is take you through the major milestones or landmarks in the Bible that clarifies war is just by God's hand. Okay? This is my official, as far as I go as a prophet, this is my official declaration of spiritual warfare against the United States of America. And why I'm saying that, I speak for myself, I don't have any physical operations. This is my disclaimer. I don't have any physical operations against the Americans, which means I'm not going out physically with physical military objectives or domestic terrorist objectives. I'm not a domestic terrorist. Okay? Because in order to be that, you have to have physical operations. Right? I don't have physical operations. So even my mentality still is not a physical operation. Okay? So therefore, you can't put a label on somebody that doesn't have a physical operation as a terrorist or a domestic terrorist or, that's how cartoon these people are. You would think I'm doing stuff in the physical world. I'm not doing anything physical. But you would think so with all this energy, right? You would think I'm out here plotting and doing stuff. Nah. And how you know for sure? It's because I don't feel it's effective anyway. It's not effective to do wars physically, terrorist attack. It's not effective. Okay, you blow up one building. There's still millions of people here. It's still millions of people here. It's ineffective to me. So that's how you know I wouldn't do it, because it's ineffective. And you know how effective I am spiritually, don't you? So if it ain't broke, I ain't gonna fix it. Why would I change spiritual effectiveness for a drop in the bucket situation and be somewhere in jail or something? So how you really know for sure, really know, is because I'm effective right now as a spiritual person. You ain't gonna ever find me do some drop in the bucket act where at best you might leave some type of message, some little fleeting message to the community. Nah, that's not how I get down. I'm already effective. I'm already competent in what I'm doing. So you ain't gonna ever find me make a mistake of inciting others to do physical operations, or me myself do physical operations. You ain't gonna ever find me calling people to physically go out here and kill people and blow up stuff. You ain't gonna ever, in your time and anywhere, you ain't gonna ever hear me do that. Now, I do believe in carrying arms to defend myself, which is not terrorism, right? That's not terrorism. That's defending yourself. So I do believe in carrying arms of all sorts and kinds, of various types of arms. I do believe in that. Just in case devils get through the cracks, and just in case these people think they bad, we keep arms, you know what I'm saying, for that, them type of folks, so, and that don't matter what color they are, whoever they are, we're going to advance our arms, which means we're going to get better arms, I'm gonna get arms and I'm gonna advance my arms to get better and better and better arms. You know what I'm saying? And I stand alone. I don't have a team of people. Let's make that clear. I don't have a team. I'm a one-man army. It's people that want to take my glory and want to share in my glory, and it's not gonna happen. I don't play clown games, right? So it's not gonna be anybody that's sharing my glory. You don't do anything. You're not playing a position. Okay, so that's that. I mean, you could talk about the position that Americans put you in. That's them. But you're not serving my purpose. That's 7 out. Okay, you're serving their purpose. You're not serving my purpose. So you don't just get to come over here and do what you want to do and say you're on my side. That's you having fun, just like the enemies, right? No, if you come here, you line up and you do what I want you to do. Because I'm the leader of this situation. I'm the leader of this situation. That's where I'm effective, right? This is what Malcolm X taught. You do not let the Americans come in and take over what you're doing. This is what Malcolm X taught. You can go look it up for yourself. Go Google it. Google that phrase. Malcolm X said, do not let the Americans come in and take over what you're doing. And you know what? I mean, I never heard that before in my life until recently, like in the past, I don't know, I think about 2 to 7 months, somewhere around in there. I couldn't believe it. It's like still up to date. People to come in and try to take over. And that's even black people, Hispanic and Latinos, arrogant people who just want glory. That's all they want. They're not even interested in objective. That's what makes it so pathetic. They're not interested in objective. They're interested in getting the glory out of what is being done. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a one-man show. I'm not letting anybody get any glory. And anybody stupid enough to think they doing something for me, but they're not, you're just as retarded as they are. Okay? And that's nothing against retarded people. But they're a different type of retarded. Right? That think that you can come out here and do what you want to do, and a man that's sharp as me ain't gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you. And you do what you want to do, but I ain't tell you to do that, did I? Okay, so then don't expect no credit from me if I didn't assign you to anything. If I didn't make you, put you on a post, then don't expect credit. Don't expect me to acknowledge it. I don't. Okay, and that's that. I don't acknowledge no position where people want to come in and do what they want to do. Think about that. You can't play no black man like me. I'm too sharp. I'm too sharp, buddy. Okay, now if people had came to me initially and said they see what I'm doing, and they agree what I'm doing, and they'll put a bag in the situation, and I give them a position to play, and they know what my objective is every day and every week and every month. My objective is getting as much money as I can into God's kingdom through my hands. I'm putting it right back in there. So it ain't like I'm taking it from myself. And if you're not serving that objective of money or food, I need food all the time. I'm low on food right now. Okay, I need a better place to live. Do you got that? Okay, it's plenty of people that got houses. It's plenty of people that got properties. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's impossible. Any of these things are impossible. You're just not willing to do it. So it's not, I don't play monkey business games. I don't play monkey business. Okay, so if you playing monkey business, then that's you. That's how I chalk it off. It ain't nothing serious to me. What I'm doing is serious. What I'm doing is paying the price. I'm on day 3 of my fast. You know what I'm saying? I get in here and I fast. These suckers sit around and eat chicken and act like they on my side. And it's not, listen, that's what you're doing. Sitting around eating chicken and acting like they on my side. I'm in the trenches. I'm in the trenches. And how you know for sure is my fasting. My fasting tells you I'm in the trenches. And that's that. If you ain't, listen, you're a clown over here. Just like the other side. I don't get, listen, this is very important. We do not care that they're having a civil war among themselves on clown game, because they never was able to touch me at all. So how they boasted that they was able to touch me, man, God would have destroyed this whole community. And now you see who I am. God would have destroyed all these little dumb people. They're nobodies, man. Okay? And some people say, well, no one is a nobody. If you're a low quality person, you're a nobody. If you're a low quality person, which being quality is a decision. If you choose to be a low quality person, you're a nobody. And they choose to be low quality people. I can explain everything I say out of my mouth intelligently. Okay, so I want to make that very clear, you know what I'm saying? Because there's people that would think that they take up your cause, but they don't. And I don't play no monkey business where people think they're a part of a war that they're not part of. Your position is my instructions. And if you don't take my instructions, you a clown. Okay? That's that. Because after all, this whole community left me to die. Now imagine me just letting people come back over here. That's what I'm saying. That's the foundation right there. Imagine me letting somebody come back over here after they left me to die. Every single time. Every time, everywhere I went. And how we know that? For the position they put me in with these same people. These Americans. They put me in the same position everywhere I go, even in this building. This ain't nothing but a trap. A failed trap. A incompetent trap. Okay, so I've been through these situations a million times. Now imagine me flipping around and acting like they doing something for me. But they brought me here as a trap. Like I'm a lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Listen, that's why this happened to you. That's why this happened to you, man. It ain't no secret. So I stand on my own. I don't have no affiliation with no secret societies. They're lying to you. I'm not affiliated with absolutely no secret society. None. Okay? None. If they jocking me, they jocking me. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? If you jocking me as a community, that's not my problem. Okay? You admire me, that's not my problem. I don't care about that. Those things I don't care about. As a general, I don't care about your admiration. I care about my military objectives being fulfilled. That's what I care about. That's the main thing on earth I care about right now. I don't care about silly things that children and teenagers think about, which is admiration of others. It doesn't do anything for me. A grown man needs money, food, and shelter. Away from enemies, away from traps, away from psychological games and psychological weirdos. This is not what that is. This building I'm living in ain't nothing but another trap. I already know it. So if you think I don't know, I know. Okay? Okay, so you can't unhear that. I know. This building is a trap. This whole community, whole neighborhood. I know that too. How do you think I figured it out? I pay attention. So imagine me turning around when I'm winning and they jocking me and I actually draft that into my life. And you know what I'm saying? Inherit the lames and all these people, these suckers out here, and then draft that into my life. Imagine that. That's how you know I ain't fake. You can't come back over here after playing that position. It's your own fault. That's why I love my situation. I'm just gonna point out it's your fault, and that's that. You know, so what I'm gonna be doing is pointing out the logical, biblical position of war. War and bitterness and unforgiveness is not the same thing. We're not talking about street wars. Street wars can be solved with politics and all of that. This is real war. So it's not a matter of forgiveness. It's not a matter of I don't forgive. War is way beyond forgiveness as a dynamic. You know, we're way beyond that. We're way beyond war. Unforgiveness and bitterness and all of that. It's not about that. It's about what gets this done. What takes care of this situation? What does it? Forgiveness won't do it. Okay, forgiveness is not going to, because it's so far gone. Monetary justice is the only thing I'm going to look at. Monetary, money. Justice as money, which is monetary justice. That may be a term I coined. Monetary justice. That's all we looking at. Forgiveness and all of that, and getting back with people that I ain't never been with. Okay, man, look. I don't have any interest in that. I never did. So in the Bible, I'm going to be going through these landmarks. In the Bible, there's 10 to 16 major battles, major wars. There's 10 to 16 major wars and 100 specific battles throughout the Old and New Testament. So this is physical wars. I Googled it. This is AI. This is real. You know what I'm saying? This is based on all informations. There's 10 to 16 major wars in the Bible. A major war is the equivalent of Vietnam. Okay, that's a major war. Okay, Vietnam is a major war. There's 10 to 16 major wars in the Bible. Physical wars. So if we don't fight against flesh and blood, how is there 10 to 16 major battles, major wars in the Bible? How is there 10 to 16 major wars in the Bible? Okay? It's ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you know, and so that's why I'm campaigning to destroy this ignorance when it's right there in the Bible. That's what I'm tripping off of. It ain't even like you got to look in another book. It's right there in the Bible, in the Holy Bible. 10 to 16 major wars and 100 Pacific battles throughout the Old Testament. 100 battles. 100 battles? And you telling me we don't fight against flesh and blood? This is, mind you, this is God's people that's fighting these wars. This isn't just some other people. This is God's people in 10 to 16 major wars and 100 Pacific battles that they're most likely involved in. We'll just leave room for a couple that they might not be involved in. Like in the book of Revelation, you know, but the 10 and 16 major battles they are a part of. That's they the main ones. There's a, you know, they're one side of the situation or the equation of a war in the context that it's you know, a major war in the Bible. They gotta be, God's people gotta be one half of that equation. It's not gonna talk about people outside of God's people and just reference to two fighting forces, and they're just, and God's people on the outside. So God's people was involved with 10 to 16 major wars, 116 battles, specific battles. See, what you want me to do is bow down to people that shouldn't be bowed down to. That's all we facing is this arrogance that, and we ain't gonna never die bound down to you. We live and die this way. I'm not bowing down to people that's not worthy. I'm not humbling myself to people that ain't worthy. So don't hold your breath, because you will suffocate. Because I'm never going to bow down to you. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'll be out there when I need to be, and I'll get what I need to get when I'm out there. It's that simple. Okay? Now, so it's 10 to 16 major battles and wars in the Bible. Major wars. Okay? And we cover what a major war is. Like Vietnam, that's a major war. Okay, 100 Pacific battles throughout the Old and New Testament. So 100 battles, right? Okay, so we settled it. It's wars in the Bible. I went and challenged you know, to find the real information. You know what I'm saying? And I don't run from the real information. You run from the real information as a community. It's 10 to 16 major battles in the Bible. Now, how we don't fight against flesh and blood, and it's 10 to 16 major wars, the equivalent of Vietnam in the Bible. That's 16 Vietnams. How we don't fight against flesh and blood when there's 16 Vietnams in the Bible? Make it make sense, man. That's all I'm asking. Now, the first battle was the Battle of Siddim. That's spelled Siddim. Battle of Siddim. That's the first recorded battle of the Bible in Genesis, the 14th chapter. So if you look in the 14th chapter of Genesis, you'll find the very first battle where human beings fight against human beings. That's the first battle, the Battle of Siddim, which I'm surprised it really hasn't been brought up. You know, I never heard anybody talk intelligently about the Battle of Siddim, which is the first recorded battle of the Bible. You got the first murder, which was Cain and Abel, right? The first war, the first battle was the Battle of Siddim. The first battle was the Battle of Siddim. That's spelled S-I-D-D-I-M. Siddim. This is the first recorded battle of the Bible. That's Genesis, the 14th chapter. By the 14th chapter, there was a war, which is to be expected of human beings. By the 14th chapter, there was the first war you got, buddy. And so, we have the right to wage war against the Americans. We have the right. Okay, that's my next point. We have the right to wage war against the Americans because nobody's playing monkey business. Nobody's in monkey business. Okay, well, it's simple arithmetic. You oppose me, I oppose you. And I don't care what color you are. I can show you in Africa how Africans fight against other Africans. And no one thinks it's racism. No one thinks one side is a sellout. When you go over there, it's more clear than ever. Because Africans are fighting Africans. No one's thinking it's racism. It's a matter of good and evil. That's what it is. Here in America, they can cry like a little wounded puppy and make you think somebody racist against them. I'm not racist. I don't care about. They flattering themselves. I don't really care about them enough. Let me put it like this. I don't think about them enough to be opposing them for racism. You're being opposed because you playing with me. That's why. That's the rain. God knows that's why. Ain't nobody thinking about who you are. I don't care who you are. That's the point. Me being black myself, I obviously don't care if you black or who you are. Okay, we go to Africa. The governments of Africa does not care about other Africans and saying, well, that's my people. In the African government, in any country in Africa, they fight Africans. That's what they do. They fight their own people in the evil of their own people. I'm doing the same thing. In Africa, you go to Africa, not this stuff that's going on lately with Muslims and Christians opposing each other and all that kind of stuff where the Muslims are killing the Christians. We ain't talking about that. We talking about an African government that kills the Africans of their own community, not because they're African, because they're evil. So if you go to Africa, you will see a clear a portrait and understanding that Africans oppose Africans, and the war gets real and goes up as far as it goes up. And so this situation is no different. It's Africans that oppose me, and it ain't got nothing to do with race and their culture and all of that stuff. All that stuff they gonna point to, it ain't got nothing to do with that. It got something to do with you playing with me too long for me not to do something back to you. And that's that. You had fun, now I'm having mine. We have the right to wage war against the Americans. Okay? The Bible, this is what AI said about the right to wage war. The right to wage, the Bible grants a right, it puts quotation around right. The Bible grants a right to wage war primarily through the just war theory. You can look up the just war theory, right? Rooted in God's authorization for government, Romans 13, the 13th chapter, to use force for justice, defense, and protecting the innocent from evil aggressors. These are evil aggressors. That's what we look for. That's what justifies our war, is evil aggressors. That's why most people that are very spiritual. Like this one woman I found down in Jamaica. She believes that if a witch is persistent or a warlock is persistent in witchcraft, they must be put to death. That is very sound judgment. If someone is particularly persistent, right, they must be put to death. Okay? We don't play monkey business with people. They want to be aggressive and evil and act like they hip hop. That's what it's influenced by. Half of these people out here are influenced by American culture. I'm telling you. Whether it's hip hop, rock and roll, with all this other crazy stuff going on here in this country. Once they become evil aggressors, we have the right to go to war. Okay? Requiring legitimate authority, just cause, right intent, proportionality, last result, and hope of success, with ultimate goals of restoring peace and punishing wickedness, as seen in the Old Testament accounts, where God raised up judges and leaders like David for righteous conflict. This is righteous conflict at this point. You see what God is doing? This is a prophetic shift to where it's no more longer talking about gang stalking in the game and monkey business and flying monkeys and all this other stuff. Okay, we're no longer talking about that. We are declaring, and I say this as a prophet, we are declaring spiritual warfare against the Americans. Okay? And so God raised up judges and leaders like David for righteous conflict. I'm raised up for righteous conflict. Sun Tzu taught this in The Art of War, which is one of my masters. I am a student of Sun Tzu. I have studied Sun Tzu more times than I can even count. I've read it so many times. The first time I've read The Art of War was when I was 17 years old. Okay, so I'm 44 years old. You do the math on that. Okay? Okay? So that's 27 years. So I think I have the right to say I'm a student of Sun Tzu when the first time I went and got the Art of War book. That was 27 years ago. So I've known the Art of War for 27 years. Okay, so it don't even take that long to make a student. It really doesn't. Okay, but once the internet came out, I just sit and listen to the Art of War over and over again. And it gives you strategy against your enemies, all type of strategies. It breaks down the morale of the person. You know what I'm saying? It breaks down the psychology of war, the psychological part of war, and everything. So I recommend and advise you to just go look up The Art of War, Sun Tzu in The Art of War, so that you can see clearly, man, different strategies, and you'll be able to make it applicable to your particular situation. So this is the part I thought about when making this message that Sun Tzu said. That's why I can honestly say I'm a student, because it's in my heart, just like the Word of God is in my heart. I can just reference, like you referenced, the Word of God in different situations, according to different situations. So in this situation, this is the portion that I decided to take from The Art of War. Sun Tzu said that if Sun Tzu said that if a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the ruler forbids it. Sun Tzu said that if a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the ruler forbids it. So if we know we can win, we don't care what Trump and the Trump administration is saying, FBI, police, and everything. This is how hardcore Sun Tzu is. Sun Tzu say fight no matter what the ruler is saying. No matter what the government is saying. No matter what the black rulers and the black government that in the culture, the black culture, that's considered a ruler too. No matter what they're saying or insinuating against us, or how they trying to put pressure on us, or they trying to insinuate a threat against us, we don't care. I don't play monkey business games. You thought I was a little punk that you could play with, and once I got started, now you want somebody to stop it. It's not gonna happen. Okay? So, Sun Tzu taught that if a battle is certain to result in victory, and we can clearly see that. You see the victory? You see what's going on, right? Okay, so we see that victory is at hand, right? Sun Tzu taught if a battle is certain to result in victory, it's certain. Look at these people. You must fight even if the ruler forbids it. No matter what, black people, the rulers can represent different levels of leadership, different pockets of leadership in the culture, in the black community, in pro-black community. It don't matter who the rulers are. If a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the ruler forbids it. That's what Sun Tzu taught. It don't matter about the ruler. You keep fighting. It don't matter about these black people, Hispanic or Latinos, and all these other people talking about whatever they talk about. We will fight against the ruler's wishes. Sun Tzu said that if a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the ruler forbids it. But if fighting won't lead to victory, this is the other side. This is these lames. This is their side. Our side is the victory. Their side is not the victory. But if fighting won't lead to victory, you shouldn't fight even if commanded. Even if your family, your community, black community telling you to fight me. You know it ain't gonna lead to victory. You know it ain't. I know these black people got you fighting, don't they? The Americans got you fighting, don't they? They throwing you in here to just fight. Sun Tzu said this, but if fighting won't lead to victory, you can't fight against God's kingdom. It ain't gonna lead to victory. You shouldn't fight even if commanded. So let's read it all together. Sun Tzu said that if a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the ruler forbids it. And you can put rulers, plural. Okay? Sun Tzu said that if a battle is certain to result in victory, you must fight even if the rulers forbid it. But if fighting won't lead to victory, you shouldn't fight even if commanded. Even if these lames out here, even if these big head drug dealers out here telling you to fight, you shouldn't fight because it's not going to lead to victory. This emphasizes that a skilled general, a military general, prioritizes strategic advantage and certain success over blind obedience to a ruler. This emphasizes that a skilled general prioritizes strategic advantage and certain success over blind obedience to rulers, recognizing that the goal is to win, ideally without fighting at all. We're not physically fighting. See, Sun Tzu taught to fight without fighting, and that's what we're doing. Because the mystery is the highest elevation of fighting is spiritual warfare. And you can't lose in spiritual warfare when you're on God's side. This emphasizes that a skilled general prioritizes strategic advantage and certain success over blind obedience to rulers. No blind obedience to rulers. Recognizing that the goal is to win, preferably without fighting at all, by subduing the enemy through stratagem. Okay? So you don't just obey a leader blindly or these rulers, because at the end of the day, here's the revelation of this whole situation. They gonna sit back and watch. A ruler will sit back and watch you die, but you know you can win this war. But they don't really care if you win or not. No, they don't care if you win or not. Okay, so no one cares what happens to you. With that being said, you fight against any bitterness because you're victorious. See, right now, they mad because I'm victorious. They mad because I'm winning. It might be, some people out there that want this to happen, but it's almost like watching a sport game. You want it to happen based on the same idea or the mindset of a sport game. And how we know you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is. You ain't willing to put some money in my pocket. You ain't willing to send agents to put money in my Cash App. No, you ain't willing to go that far. So you just, you're not willing to help, but you're willing to, it's like watching a game, you know what I'm saying? You just want to see, you got a side that you stand on, and it's kind of entertainment for you. That's all it is. We don't take nobody like that seriously. We don't take your position seriously. The only way I take somebody's position seriously, if you are supplying the soldiers, the army, my army, with what I need. If you're not doing that, I don't take you seriously. And you got to understand, some black folks ain't never been in no serious position in their life. Ain't nothing serious. They ain't been in nothing serious in their life. So they ain't going to take you seriously because they don't have the scope to understand what position you in and how real it is. They don't take it seriously. Especially if I'm black. They think they waiting for some unprofessional to happen. No, that's real. We expect it out of each other. We expect failure out of each other. We expect people to be second class out of each other because that's what we used to. You just wait for me to be funky and second class and fall off like an ignorant black person, and it's not happening. And that's what people are marveling at. Black people are marveling at. You wait for me to be funky and second class, and it's not happening. That's why I gotta distance myself from your energy, because your energy is riddled with my failure. Your vibration is all about my failure, because you can't see beyond your own success. Think about it. You can't see beyond your own success, so you ain't gonna believe in something that you can't believe in yourself. You can't believe I can beat the Americans, and we beat them. We beat them by spiritual warfare. So you got some black people that, they almost like slaves. They ain't gonna believe in you beating the Americans. No. So as soon as you start winning, how they gonna act? Now you see what I'm saying? Quiet, waiting for contradiction, waiting for failure, because you're used to it. You're used to failure. So when I start winning, okay, what's the attitude gonna be? That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why, unfortunately, man, whether people understand it or not, we have to distance ourselves from the culture, the black culture, and because they subject to the government, they subject to these people, and I'm winning, and I'm undisturbed in my winning. You know what I'm saying? So why go over there where they expect you to fail, and they most of them like slaves, and they think you can't beat the Americans. That's what they all thought. You know why? Because you're submitted to these white Americans, and you don't think you can beat them. And I'm beating them, so now you marveling and jocking me, and it ain't gonna work. We ain't even gonna allow that position. Nope. This ain't no open all for all, open to be over here. No. You can be over there, open for all over there. No, man, we checking every position. I'm checking every position. If I can't utilize you and use you, that's right. If I can't utilize you and use you for my cause, you're not here. I don't play no okie doke, Frosted Flake, Tiger Kids, cheerleader Tiger Kids. Tiger! I don't play those games, man. If you over here, you gotta be putting forth some money or some food or some assistance. I shouldn't have to do anything. But I have to do it all. I gotta go out there. I gotta save my money. You ain't putting none of your money. I'm using all my money. I gotta go grocery shopping. I gotta do everything. I gotta manually go out here and carry all my groceries and bring them in. Oh yeah, it does matter. I shouldn't have to do anything. That's real. That's real. So can you imagine me doing everything and sitting back like I got a team of people? That's ignorant people. That's all it is. They find this to be entertainment. This ain't no entertainment. You out your cotton picking mind, sucker. And the more real the war is, unfortunately, people think it's a game. And that's why they're going to get blown away. See, the real way we're going to get rid of everybody is chaos. That's how we're going to do it. If you're saying, well, how they going to leave? Chaos. That's how. It's going to be. It has to be absolute chaos to where they're preoccupied with the chaos. That's how we're going to get rid of them. Chaos. Chaos is, so if you're wondering what the strategy is we're hoping all of this collapse into chaos. And ain't no way in the world they're going to be still around me and you. They're going to be too preoccupied with chaos. Okay, I'm putting my own money. This is my money, right? This is my money. I'm putting my own money in this situation. Okay, for other people, that's that you ain't putting a dime into what we doing, and you just standing over here. You see how ghetto that is? You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, nah. It ain't going. It ain't. No. You know what I'm saying? I still got my money. You seen the same money 2 weeks ago. This is a weapon for people that think this ain't a lot of money. Okay, that's what make you a clown. That's what make you a clown. You know, listen, do you know what this does in the hands of God's people? It don't have to be a lot. Go ask a preacher how much you gotta have to sow into God's kingdom for it to do something. You ain't gotta have $1 billion. I ain't gotta have $1 billion to change this community. Listen, go ask a preacher, do I gotta have $1 billion to change what goes on out here? And I gotta give $1 billion to the kingdom of God. Do I have to do $1 billion for this all to change out here? A preacher gonna say no. So money does more in the spiritual world than you realize. Because God is a good God. God is a just God, which means I don't have to go put $1 billion for God to do something. So this money means something else than what you thought it meant. I never meant that this was a lot of money. This is a weapon. That's my point. This is a spiritual warfare as an offering as spiritual warfare. That's what this is. I didn't say this was $1 million. I didn't say this was $1 billion. But this money is gonna make $1 million down in South America when I put it with the other money that I'm gonna get. I'm putting $1 million down there in South America. Go ask a preacher what $1 million will do. So what you see right here, this is going to equate $1 million. So you know what it does. This is basically holding the works of $1 million. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm also doing this. That's why I'm showing you this, because this is the spiritual weapon. This is the spiritual offering as a weapon. Okay? Go listen. Ask any preacher what $1 million will do. Ask them what it'll do. That's what I'm telling you. Ask them what it'll do. And especially when you playing with this person and you know you playing with this person. Everybody sitting back watching. And I guess your justification is, well, I don't seem like I'm really with black people. Oh well, you still gonna need help playing with me. You still gonna be in trouble playing with me. You gonna still be in trouble sitting back watching it happen. What you thought, oh well, he ain't with us, so we don't care. Okay, you can play that position. That's fine with me, buddy. That's fine with me. This is spiritual warfare. This is a weapon. That's why this is how I present it. I'm not presenting this like this a lot of money. So when it's a weapon, it's a whole different ball game. It's a lot of destruction that's gonna come to these people. Right? That's why everybody's anticipating. You know what I'm saying? So for people that play themselves and act like I was this is a whole bunch of money and who am I? And people saying, oh, well, who is this guy? I'm the guy that is a prophet that can take this money and I guarantee it's going to change your community. That's who I am. That's 7 Al. I guarantee it's going to change your community. That's who I am. I understand subliminals very well. Why some of these bird brain people throw out subliminals and you don't think I'm going to catch it. Okay, who am I? You want to know who I am? Somebody who will sit back that's got $1 billion. They $1 billion can't change the community. So who you going to respect? The guy that he can take this money and change the community while the billionaire can do nothing. He can't change the community. In the end, all these people with money can do nothing. They're subject to what Trump is doing. They sitting back watching what Trump doing. You sitting back watching what Trump are doing. This right here, in the hands of a prophet, is way much more powerful than billions of dollars actually. That's 7 Al. You don't know any better. That's why we know you're not spiritual. Because once you've seen a prophet with any amount of money, you should have knew that was going to be worse than $1 billion. To what it do out here, to what it actually do in the community. That's how we know you're not as high ranking as you think you are. Because as soon as you see the prophet holding money like this, you should have knew it was a problem right then. Yeah. Yeah. You should have knew it was a problem right then. For somebody to look at the amount of money is a bird brain. That's somebody out there in the world. That's how we expose you. If you were spiritual, you would know a prophet holding money is a problem. And I also do it so that people will get undoctrinized from thinking a prophet can't have no money. That's another reason I do it. Why you think I'm trying to flex? Nope. What I'm doing is I'm giving you an image of an anointed man holding money. I want you to see that image and get it in your head. Because this is the image that they don't like to see. A man of God holding money. That's the reason why I'm doing it too. Yeah, everybody else can have it. Let a man of God have it. Oh yeah, that's corny right there. How is it corny? How is it corny me having money in my hands? You explain that. Make that make sense. How is it corny me having money in my hands? Huh? When people begging for dollars out here. When people begging for a couple dollars. How is it corny for me holding money right now in my hand? Showing the discipline. Showing the discipline that the man of God had. I ain't spent none of this. And you can clearly see this. I could buy whatever. I could buy the basic things I would like. Out of this, I can buy basic things. Food. I could have had food. I could have, if I was in the world, I could have had alcohol, cigarettes, weed, all of that. Even a cheap woman. I put it how it is. Put this out there, walking around like this. Hey, how you doing? She gonna say, hey, how you doing? You know the type. See you counting money. Hey, what you getting into? You look like you about to have some fun. Why? Because I got some money in my hand. You know the type. Come on, man. You know what I'm talking about. I do this also that people can get their mind renewed and pay and do something that none of these preachers are doing. Is hold some money in your hand so that people can see the image of a man of God with money. Cause that's what's fought against more than anything else. You see people talking about fasting. You see people talking about spiritual warfare, gang stalkers, and everything in between. But I notice, this is another reason I do it. I notice none of these Christians are talking about giving an offering, spiritual offerings to God's work as spiritual warfare. I'm showing you spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare, buddy. This ain't no game. And everybody already know. Everybody already knows. So, you know, if you sat back and thought I was flexing with this money and you thought this meant something, that tells me how much of a bird brain you are. You know what I'm saying? This was about, if you look at the titles of all the messages, every title, and I'm glad I went and looked, every title is talking about spiritual warfare as an offering. Every time you see an icon with me holding money, anytime you see my avatar with me holding money, right? It shows you, the title says what it's about. Spiritual warfare as offerings as spiritual warfare, spiritual offerings as spiritual warfare. So I made that clear. So why would you think I'm flexing, or why would you think I'm looking at only the dynamic of money like I'm trying to show I got big money? You a bird brain person. You a bird brain. I just went and checked on my videos just to make sure I was good. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Because I see right here, as soon as somebody see it, okay, you're going to see right after that, you're going to see a title, Spiritual Offerings as Warfare. So you wouldn't even think that I'm trying to flex this to say, this is big money, look at me, I got money or something. Come on, man. That's what's corny. I ain't doing that. So if anybody say, who is this guy, to my videos, if you read the whole message, you will see I'm the guy that's using this for spiritual warfare. That's who I am, and everybody knows how effective I am. So when you follow up and find my credibility, then you're going to know who I am. You're going to know clearly who I am. You won't have no doubt about it if you look at my videos anyway, and you will know who I am. Now, if you're one of them trolls that's sitting up looking at the avatar and the icon, and you don't go into the video, you ain't gonna know who I am, but you still would know who I am based on my title that says, find spiritual offering as spiritual warfare. It ain't corny. It's the next level. It's the 2026 level of spiritual warfare, and ain't nobody playing no games. God's kingdom is progressive. God's kingdom is progressive. Okay? The bottom line is, man, for people that don't understand the church, okay, you go to church, it's lights on in that church. You got to pay for the bills and the lights. You got to pay for the rent. You got to pay for the water, the running water, where you can go use the toilet when you in there. All of that costs money. Okay? So you got some ignorant people coming there, take a dump, get something to eat, take another dump, and sit there under the AC or the heat and act like that just all magically came together. And that's why the pastors are surrounded by people like me, because we live in the practical world where we understand this don't all just come together. You go into a church, you got lights, you got water, you got action. Okay, how does all that happen? And you got the dopey people that sit up there and never come to terms with it. Then you got the practical people, a lot of men that will sit back and say, well, I know the Rev is paying for this and paying for that. A man gonna look around. A man gonna think about bills. But you saying you a man, well, how come you ain't think about them bills in the church? Why you sitting up criticizing the preacher for having money? Why, if you a real man, why you ain't looking at all them bills in the church? You don't see bills? A man sees bills soon as he come in. Oh, we got it good and hot in here. Oh, I know that's a high heat bill right there. I know that's a high energy bill. Oh, he got them lights going on. No, that's a high energy bill. Got that water back there. Got that food. Got that food for us when we get done eating. When we get done listening to the preacher. I know he paid something for that. The real man comes into the house of God and as a real man and see bills, because he's used to doing it out there in the community. He's used to paying bills in the community. Only a dopey person comes in there and act like, oh, well, the man of God shouldn't, we ain't got to do all of that. What you mean? This man got bills. This man and basically the preacher has 2 mortgages for a slow person. He got a mortgage with the property and a mortgage for his family. And most preachers ain't gonna tell you that. He expect you to read between the lines. That's how you know what he dealing with. You got a whole bunch of okie dokes that can't see you got 2 mortgages, the equivalent of 2 mortgages, if the building's not paid off, which in most cases is not. This man got 2 mortgages, man. and two light bills, two Con Edison accounts. He got two Con Edison accounts. He got two water bills. And you just come up in there with your funky family like it's all good. Well, we shouldn't have to do nothing. What you mean? That's how we know you're not a woman of God. That's how we know you're not a man of God. Listen, buddy, you're going to be willing. You're going to see everything the man doing and what he does in the community. Especially if he active in the community. Don't let him be active in the community. Don't let him be active in the community. And he got a mortgage. And he paying the light bill and the water bill. And you don't feel the need to do nothing. You don't feel the need to support the work of God with money. That's what I'm talking about, buddy. See, this is the message that a lot of preachers can't do. Because soon as they start talking like this, people gonna say, yeah, man, he in there begging for money and he in there talking about. Okay. What we realize about you, guess what we realize? You see what you realize. You're stating what you realize about the preacher. Guess what we realize about you? You are not in the practical world. You step in the house of God and become magical. Like Tinkerbell. You become Tinkerbell when you come in God's house. We're going to get you a little dress like Tinkerbell. We're going to get you a little wand and dress like Tinkerbell. You become Tinkerbell in God's house. You're Tinkerbell, man. You Tinkerbell, ain't you? You Tinkerbell. You Tinkerbell, ain't you? Put a little funk on it. You Tinkerbell, ain't you? Hey, man, listen. You come in the house of God. Listen, I'm not a play. Listen, I don't abuse good people or God's people, and I don't hurt good people. This is for those who criticize without, and you the main one talking about your bread. You the main one talking about you live in the real world and it's all about the money. But you can't see that when you come into God's kingdom. When you come to God's house, you can't see the need for money for rent, water, electricity. Right? He don't supposed to do it all on his own. No, he don't. He provides you with your giving a spiritual opportunity for spiritual reciprocity to come back in your life. It's a spiritual opportunity. While you're helping him pay the bills and outreach to the global community. Okay? And then they be the main one talking about somebody else's brainwashed, but when you come into God's house, you don't use practical sense. But I'm brainwashed, but I make all the sense in the world. Like this man having two mortgages. You ain't never think about it. Come on, let's keep it real. 100. That's 100. That's a 7 hour. You ain't never thought about it. So you've said in your lifetime, the preacher got two mortgages. You ain't never said it. You ain't never said it in your lifetime. Just keep it 100. You ain't never said it. That man got two mortgages, two Con Edison accounts for energy. He got two water bills, and he got two grocery bills. A good preacher cooking for the whole community, cooking for the congregation. I used to go to a church where he got banquet chicken and everything, macaroni, cheese, everything. I ain't gonna say own the house, but he got that. He got chicken and everything, food, everything. That's how we used to eat in them southern churches. And he doing that all on his own. So if you don't give for any other reason, man, you come there every Sunday. You eat the man chicken and macaroni and all of that, man. And you see these lights on. You see the heat on in the wintertime. You see the AC on. And it's an outing for most of these old people. Look at that. For y'all who mom is in the church, your mom in the church, right? Your mom in there, right? Okay, that's an outing for your mom. She's not going to the club no more. So to uplift her spirit, she going to church. Oh, that's part of it. Let's keep it 100. Even though she loved God, she also going for an outing. Man, listen, I'm dealing with simple people, simpletons, man. Half of y'all got mamas in the church. Your mama going to church as an outing when she's past her 70s. She in her 70s. She ain't going nowhere. Where is she going? Where is she going, bruh? She not going nowhere. You ain't get it? You don't see how she slowed down? She ain't going to the mall. She ain't going nowhere. Okay, so church is that's her outing. She be happy. You notice how happy she is? When she going to church, so put it together. That's an outing for her. For her to see all her little friends and everything and the little kids, and it's an outing for her. And you don't feel no need to do nothing. Your mama being entertained and got an outing. And you don't feel no need. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's an outing. Your mom will admit it. Yeah, it is. Well, yeah. It is an outing for me. I don't do anything anymore. That's what your mama gonna tell you. That's an outing. That is right. I don't go nowhere else. And I go to that church and they got food there and they got the good music. I get to sit there with the kids and everything. And you know, and I get a good inspirational message. That's right. It's an outing. And you don't feel the need when your mama's being uplifted and you can't do it. You can't uplift your mama like the church can. You don't feel no need to give them no money, and your mama and your mom is uplifted from the church and you can't do it. All you doing is sitting home butt naked, smoking Newports and smoking weed on a Sunday. That's all you doing. In the haze of yesterday, last night. You hung over from last night while your mama getting up for church. And you don't feel no need. When you know you're not able to uplift your mama, you don't feel no need for her to get up, to finance the church and help them when they uplifting your mama every week. They making her stronger to survive, her will to survive. Because when older people got something to do, they live longer. You don't look at it like that. You don't look. That's what I'm trying to show you. But yeah, you say we brainwashed. No, I think it's you, little buddy. I think you the one brainwashed. Cause look, the bottom line is you can't lift up your mama like the church can. No, you can't. I'm talking about the whole thing. The kids, all the people there, her little friends and everything. Not just the man of God. You looking at the man of God. Only the man of God. Look at the whole thing. The food, you know what I'm saying? She get a good meal. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Stop playing, bro. Stop playing with me, man. Y'all sit up and watch this and criticize this and don't even look at the whole theatrics. The whole logistics. You don't even look at the whole logistics of the situation. But you'll sit up and criticize this. But half of y'all mama and them in the church getting inspired every week. But you don't feel no need for $1 to drop in that plate, in that collection plate. That means you are a child in your thinking. That's what it means. A real man gonna say, I willingly, for my mom to be uplifted. Off the street, I ain't even talking about the religion if I even believe in that. For her to go there and be involved there, right? And she getting a good meal, she's getting uplifted. I willingly give $100 here and there. You know what I'm saying? At least once a year, I give $100. And I'm just saying, that's $100. I give $100 a year, yeah, to a church, and my mom being uplifted, she going to church feeling good, and that's what she like to do. See, you put yourself in that situation like what you like to do, and you don't respect your family. Look, your mama love to go to that church, and you telling me you don't feel the need to support that? I mean, come on. If it was anything else, you would support it. Financially, you would support it if it was anything else. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Yes, you would. If your mom was going out golfing and everything, she was going out golfing and putt and all of that, golfing and everything. Yeah, mom, that's good. I give you $200 to go out there and just have a good time. What's the difference? See, the man of God can't go in like I'm a prophet. I don't care. The prophet gonna go all the way in, buddy. Sitting up coming to the house of God talking about, man, yeah, he getting money. He getting money off our backs and all of that. That's right. He should be. He feeding your family. He feeding your family and providing entertainment and providing inspiration and good music and all of that. Inspirational, loud music to get all that demonic stuff out the people's head. He getting all that stuff off of them they done been through all week at work and everything. You ain't looking at it right, man. You ain't looking at it right. People go to work all week, going through hell on earth at work. While you talking about a job, people go through hell with these managers and these co-workers. And they come come and get that loud music and just blare all of that foolishness out, and they praise God and get all of that energy off their back, get that monkey off their back, right? And you don't think that should be supported? A cause like that should be supported? You're not aware of what's going on, buddy. There's many people right in the house of God now. They've been working at Walmart, all these different places all week. They can't wait to get in God's presence. They can't wait to get in the church, to praise God, to get all that foolishness off of them, all them demonic spirits they got to deal with out in public. And who gonna help them? Who the one gonna help them? It's God's people. That's what I'm saying. See, you don't realize. You say you live in the real world. No, you don't. The only way you articulate that is the streets. But when we start talking about God's kingdom, we take off on you. You can't see the real world in the church. That part. You can't see the real world in the church, can you? That's 7 hours. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you can't. You go in there like Tinkerbell. You turn to Tinkerbell. You turn to Tinkerbell. Since you're a man, we're gonna get you some green pants and green shirt and a green top and a green pants. You turn into Tinkerbell. We're gonna get you a green suit, a dress suit. You know the dress suits. We're gonna get you a green dress suit, bro. You turn into Tinkerbell. You turn into Tinkerbell when you get in the church. Ooh, it feels so good in here, spiritual and magical. But you do not look at everything in practical terms. Like, this man gotta have bread to keep this going. He gotta have bread to keep that going, to feed your family, to encourage your family over the whole year. He gotta have bread. But you say you living in the real world. You'll step right out the church and say, yeah, I'm about my bread. I'm about the real world, you know what I mean? Yeah, that part. But you're not applying it to the church, the material part of the church, the material part, the tangible part, like the tangible toilet seats where you can take a dump. Where your toilet at home is dirty, but you can take a dump on a clean toilet. You ain't done that in a couple weeks. Oh, come on, your bathroom got clothes in it. Come on, I know how we are, man. You got cigarette butts and clothes all in your bathroom, everything all in there. You at least get to be able to take a dump in a clean bathroom after a couple of weeks. Shake your mind, clean your mind. You know what I'm saying? Make it shake your head. Make it shake your head a little bit. Shake it off. Shake off that dirty bathroom. You get to shake off that dirty bathroom for a little bit. I'm serious. And even if you don't believe in spiritual reciprocity, you can't believe in helping this man do what he do. Let's just say you don't believe that God will do something for you. Let's just say you don't believe in that. Okay, but you don't believe in helping this man entertain your mom and them. Huh? Entertaining your little niece and nephews that work at Walmart. And they can't get no inspiration from you. Them little texts don't work. They sitting home halfway depressed because of how they treated at Walmart as an employee. And they go to this church and get inspiration. You don't feel the need to finance that and help and support that, but you support everything else in America. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm tripping off of. You listen, you support everything else in America. But the man of God is the one that's inspiring you and your family. That's what I'm talking about. See, I can explain my position. Like I always tell people, I can explain my position. People can't explain theirs. No, you can't explain your position, man. Out here talking out of term about God's people and everything. And they out there inspiring half of your family. Half of your family getting inspired by the church. Half of them. You use witchcraft, but half of your family getting inspired by church right now. You think I'm stupid, don't you? Half of y'all use witchcraft. Okay, where the other half of your church at? Your family. They going to church this morning, ain't they? Of course they are. I know black people. I know Americans. Half of your church, half of your family going to church, ain't they? Yeah, come on, I know that. When you go to the family reunion, even though you use witchcraft, you can't avoid the Christians. So how you treat the Christians? See how it's getting tricky in these last days? Okay, you use witchcraft, don't you? Oh, don't be black. Don't be black. Also, when you go to the family reunion, what you do with all them Christians in your family? Ain't no way around this, man. God, people, we rule, man. That's facts on it. That's facts on it, bro. Where you go? What you do when the Christians come in your family? You treat them like you treat them like you got a problem with them. You treat them like you won't smoke with the Christians in your family. When they took care of you and wiped your butt when you was a kid, you won't smoke with your Christian mom, your Christian auntie that wiped your butt, huh? You won't smoke with your uncle that taught you how to ride a bike. Cause you a witch and now you in the Christianity, and now you trying to beef with Christians. It's corny, don't you see? When you go back to your family, look how corny it is. You can't beef with them. They done too much for you. They done too much for you. So you oppose us, but you don't oppose all these Christians in your family. That's 7 hours. Oh, hey, all these black witchcraft people in this community that's against me, I bet you got Christians in your family, don't you? You don't oppose them, do you? It's a clown game. You see that part? You oppose me now, and I'm a prophet. Your auntie ain't no prophet. But you oppose me. But you cool with her. See, it don't make sense, little buddy. I know how black communities and families are constructed, bro, and designed with a whole bunch of Christians in them. And they gonna talk to you, and you gonna talk to them. And you ain't gonna act like, cause you in the witchcraft, you don't got nothing to do with your Christian family. That's a lie. That's why you had to try to demonize me as not being a Christian, because you two-faced with Christians in your own family. Okay? You can't get around that. That's what I'm saying. You go back to your family and you ever reminded of how you call yourself fighting against me. It ain't gonna work, buddy. And what you think? What would somebody like me think? It's corny. It's corny for you to play with a prophet, but then you over there, your auntie is an evangelist. Your auntie is an evangelist. Evangelist Tiffany. Your aunt is Evangelist Tiffany. Evangelist Tiffany cook cookies for everybody at the church. She cook cookies for everybody. But you use witchcraft, but you still cool with Evangelist Tiffany. But you oppose the prophet. But Evangelist Tiffany on my side. But you cool with her. See, one thing about me, this is how I am, bruh. One thing about me, listen, buddy. I don't affiliate with somebody that's enemies. Friends with my enemies. Nope. No. If you're a friend to my enemies, I don't deal with you. Right? Evangelist Tiffany is my sister. Your auntie is my sister. If she a Christian, your auntie and your uncle is my brothers and sisters. But you still affiliate yourself with them. I don't do the same thing. I don't affiliate myself with people that's friends to my enemies. If Christians are your enemies, how are you and Evangelist Tiffany still good? Huh? Deacon Carl. Deacon Carl is your uncle, ain't he? Deacon Carl is your uncle. Deacon Carl. Deacon Carl. I ain't mocking nobody. I'm just a real man and you a clown. You a sucker. Deacon Carl is your friend, your uncle, ain't he? You friends with him, ain't you? But Deacon Carl is my brother. Boom. Make that make sense. You know that's how many that's half of these black people using witchcraft. Using hoodoo like we don't know. You using hoodoo, ain't you? hoodoo or obia or maybe voodoo. Maybe you use voodoo or you talk to Papa Leba. You talk to Blanc Donnie or the Grand Zombie. Oh, you didn't think I knew about that, did you? Oh, I know all about the dark arts. In fact, I grew up in the South where the dark arts, I heard about that from a kid, from a child. I knew about hoodoo as a kid. We call it putting roots on people. But you couldn't put roots on me, could you? That's 7 out. You couldn't put roots on me. You couldn't put roots on me. You couldn't have put the roots on me. Tell Evangelist Tiffany I said hello. Tell Deacon Carl I said hello. That's in your family. Tell Deacon Carl I said hello. You gonna go get a plate from them the other day. See, if you was 100, you wouldn't even get no food from them. You gonna go get a plate from Deacon Carl, ain't you? Evangelist Tiffany make them cookies from scratch. You going to get them, ain't you? You going to get them cookies, ain't you? You going to smoke weed and eat them cookies, ain't you? I know how it is. You going to smoke a blunt and eat them cookies. You going to eat Evangelist Tiffany's cookies. She put the big old semi-chocolate chunks in it, don't she? Yeah, that part. And I find that to be corny in this real war we in. Well, hey, listen, you shouldn't be going over Evangelist Tiffany's house. That's my side. Well, it's your blood family. That's my side, though. Stop getting cookies from Uncle Evangelist Tiffany. Okay? Deacon Carl is making them BLTs. Hey, Deacon Carl be making them big old BLTs. He used the Texas toast and the big thick pieces of bacon, don't he? Crisp lettuce, mayo. Deacon Carl be making them BLTs for you, don't he? You going over there eating them Deacon Carl's BLTs. Start going over there getting them Deacon Carl's BLTs, bro. That's my side. That's my side in your family. That's my side in your family. You going over Deacon Carl's house getting them BLTs. Huh? You going to Evangelist Tiffany's house getting them cookies. Then she make them cookies for the holidays, don't she? You going over there again, getting a whole bucket of, she cooks so many cookies, you getting a whole bucket of them, ain't you? Smoke some weed like you do, and eat cookies and milk. That's what you're gonna do. Come on, I know, man. But that's my side, that's my point. If you was 100, listen, you wouldn't be getting no more cookies from Tiffany. Evangelist Tiffany, she'll say, he don't come over here and get no cookies no more. You got 100, you became 100. You became 100. I mean, if you really down with it. Listen, I ain't trying to separate you from your family. I'm just saying, if you really down, listen, if you 100 against Christians like you say you are, that's what I'm challenging. I'm challenging your position. Why you still going over Evangelist Tiffany house on the low getting cookies? Going to Deacon Carl's house getting BLTs. Yeah, come over here. I got about 4 BLTs for you. I wrapped them in aluminum foil. Each one individually, I wrapped them in aluminum foil. Come on over here and get you some BLTs. I got about 50 of them over here. I done made 50 of them. I'm going to hand some of them out to the homeless. You can get about 4 of them before I start handing them out to the homeless. Oh, that's what a Christian going to do. We going to look out for the homeless. On top of that, how can you sit back and watch us hand out food to the homeless and you don't feel the need to help a Christian outreach? And we help it when we sending out food to the homeless and you ain't doing that. You don't feel the need to support that? That's what I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about, man, listen, I'm talking about people that live in the real world, man. See, if you don't know, when you go to the hood, go ask these thugs and gangsters. I can't stress this enough. how much the man of God in they city or in they neighborhood, ask them how much he do for the hood. For Christmas, back to school, getting kids school supplies and backpacks. Huh? Go ask him how much he do for the kids and the family, and ask him what he say. Oh yeah. The dude, Thug Gangsta gonna say, yeah. Rev be out here, man. He be out here helping the community, man. They out there thugging. They gonna look out for that man. Yeah, man. He out here, man. You know what I'm saying? He helping the community, everything, man. We ain't gonna let nothing happen to him. Nobody better not play with him, man. He do too much for us, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. We ain't even have enough to get backpacks this year, man. Straight up, we was thinking about the kids just bagging up their stuff in another bag, some little handy bag or something. Cause we ain't have enough money. We let them get what shoes they want, what shirts they want, and after that, we let them get what they want. We told them we let them get what they want. After that, we ain't have enough for them to get book bags. That's what we call in the hood, book bags. We ain't have enough to get no book bags. So the man of God had, man, all these book bags, man. You know what? I could have almost cried, man. Cause you know a kid need book bags, but you know what I'm saying? We young parents, we just gonna let them get what they want, all the shirts and clothes. We gonna sympathize with that. You know what I'm saying? So they look a certain way, they wanna look a certain way. We gonna, you know what I'm saying? And man, we was slipping on the book. We was slipping, call it irresponsible, but we was slipping on the book bags. Out of all things. And the man of God came through, gave us book bags, school supplies, everything, man. And we ain't gonna acknowledge that? Of course we are, man. So it ain't the streets gonna acknowledge Christians for what we do for the community. And we don't ask them if they Christians. We don't ask them if they Christians. Some organizations only do stuff for their own people. We don't ask, are you a Christian? Okay, here we go. We don't ask you if you a Christian. We done so much for the community, man. Listen, man, you gotta demonize me as not saying I'm a Christian because we got too much credibility. I don't care. That's up against Freemasons and everything, man. Nah. Freemasons be helping certain organizations and charities. I'm talking about Christians out here with soup kitchens, consistent in all these hoods, all these ghettos, out there shelling out money sometimes to the community, to people that can't pay their rent. They come to the rev, they come to the pastor, the reverend. He gonna pay, man, you know how many ghetto people go to the pastor on the low, and he doing stuff he ain't even telling the congregation about, because he don't want the glory. He don't want people to. He don't want to think people, he think he doing it for the wrong reason. Some people, man, the pastor is paying bills for people ain't got no lights or nothing. He paying whole bills, bruh. Whole bills. You don't know that because preachers do it I know preachers. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. And what you gonna, and you gonna play with that over witchcraft? Witchcraft ain't doing nothing. That's what I'm saying. Me. I just speak for myself when it comes to Christianity, man. I see the practical part of it too. I see how they help the community, man, and ain't nobody else doing it. Now, see, if you ain't black, you ain't gonna even get off in this thinking, cause you in a white neighborhood where or some suburban neighborhood where you ain't going to the preacher for these type of things. So you don't really know how active Christians really are out in the streets. You go to the hood, they know, cause low key they done went to the preacher a couple times to pay that rent. And they ain't have to do no strange things for it. He done shelled it out to him. Yeah, okay, yeah. You Evangelist Tiffany little niece? Okay, yeah. I just had to place you. So how much you need? How much you need? Well, I need like $380. $380, I got you. Here's $400. Get you something get you some food with that extra $20. You need a little extra more? You need some food? You got food? Well, we kind of low, but listen, here's an extra $100. Here's $500. Here's $500. That's 100. That's 120 right there. That's 120 for food, right? You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. Go home. God bless you. You know what I'm saying? And listen, you ain't gotta come to our church. Don't feel like we would like you to come to our church, But this is not for you to come here to our church. This is from my heart. This is what I do as a man of God. I'm not here for you to. I ain't giving you this $120 so you can come down to the church. You know what I'm saying? So preachers be 100, man. Preachers don't play no game, especially when they ain't preaching. You ever talk to a preacher? To be 100. Preacher gonna sit there and long-winded too. He gonna talk to you. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I done struggled myself. I done been through a lot. I used to catch the buses all the time. I used to walk to work sometimes. Preacher gonna be long-winded. He gonna tell you all the story. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give you that $120 extra and pay the bill. Don't worry about it. Don't feel like you're getting over. Preacher gonna be 100. You ain't getting over. I want to do that. I want to do that for you. So don't feel like that. You know what I'm saying? Just keep up with me. Keep up with me and let me know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I'll help you again if I got to. We'll help you again if we got to. And whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? To get you back on track. Because Evangelist Tiffany, that goes a long way. Who she is goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? You and her family. You know what I'm saying? She do a lot for us. You know what I'm saying? And that's our way of giving back in more than one way. We giving back in more than one way in this situation. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't hesitate to come back through. That's how the reverend is. That's how the preacher is. Because most preachers got a little background in the streets a little bit too. You know what I'm saying? He still got nieces and nephews out there thugging. You know what I'm saying? He his son sometimes, his son done went out there thugging a little bit. Rev getting his son out of prison. Rev visiting his son in prison, getting his son out of jail, bonding his son. They go through stuff, man. They go through stuff, man. That's why, people that's on the outside shouldn't even be talking, man. These corny people, man. You know what I'm saying? We make people respect the church, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said. And then sometimes they might bail people out of jail. Yeah, that too. That too. Need bail money, everything. Come to the Rev for the bail money. I guarantee you that's happening. Get little Tony out of prison. Get little Tony out of jail. Well, I just need $2,000 to get Tony out of jail. I know he done messed up so much, boy. I tell you, I can't. He got to get out of there though. And especially if it's an auntie in the church or something, Rev gonna do it. He gonna throw them 2 stacks, bruh, for little Tony. You know what I'm saying? And little Tony gonna salute. He might not go to church, but he gonna salute. Yeah, Rev, he paid my bill, whatever. You sitting out there smoking a blunt down the street. Yeah, Rev paid my bill. You know what I'm saying? He sitting out on the porch on a Sunday morning. Yeah, I respect that though. You know what I'm saying? Rev paid my bill. You know what I'm saying? He gonna think about that, man. See, it's more than one way to minister to people, man. Because how I see it, when you're on the streets, you know what I'm saying, people gonna look at, do you see their most immediate need before you talk to them about your God? You know what I'm saying? You meet their most immediate need. See, that's how good ministry gonna tell you. You meet their most immediate need. Now I'm gonna listen to you and what you got to say about God. But if you can see I'm hungry right here, you can see I ain't got nothing, and you can ignore that and just talk to me about God. What does that say about your religion, your Christianity? You know what I'm saying? You can talk to me about God and just walk away. And you see the need. You can't save the world, but you know what I mean. So, man, that's the practical world we live in, man. That's why I don't mind. Me, myself, I don't even think about it. I don't mind giving blessing churches because I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. Now you see what I mean. And when you doing that, can you imagine the blessings that's coming back to you? Can you imagine how effective you're going to be in this spiritual warfare? That's what I'm saying. You helping the community through helping the ministry. That's how you need to hear it. You're helping the community through helping the ministry. Okay? I'm not saying go give to any church in the world. You make sure they got the right mission statement and they got an outreach. That's most important. An outreach. Where they got soup kitchens, they give out clothes, things like that. Like, it's this church that I give to in Southside Chicago, down in the old block. Anybody that know about Chicago know about the old block. So I found a church in Parkway Gardens. It's called Parkway Gardens Christian, right? So I just sent a little money down there, just to touch bases. You know what I'm saying? But Yeah, I got a church down in the O Block that I give to. You know what I'm saying? That's serious business. I'm talking about Southside Chicago, O Block. Everybody know about it, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know about that O Block. If you in the culture, you know about the O Block. I know that. Hey, if you in the culture, you know about the O Block. Yeah, you do. You know about that O Block. See, the preachers, we listen, man. Listen, I supposed to know about that. Especially being black, I was supposed to know about the O Block. Down there, Parkway Garden. That's where Michelle Obama came from. She came from the O Block. You ain't know that, did you? Man, come on, man. Listen, man, listen. You think I'm gonna be slacking and not knowing where I'm at, my geographics? What kind of street person would I be, but I don't know my geographic? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, like, yeah, she from the O Block. She from down there in Parkway Gardens, Southside Chicago. I send money down there already. You know what I'm saying? See, dudes don't know that. See, so I done help Chicago, people down in Chicago. But see, I ain't singing songs about it, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, you do gotta let people know, okay, yeah, you know, y'all be talking about the O Block all the time and everything and all that, you know, drillers and drill and steppers and all of that, man, and everything. And the preacher the one doing something. Like, yeah, so here's the address, East 67. Everybody know about East 67 in Chicago? So you know it ain't the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping Christians down there on East 67. That's zip code 60637. You know what I'm saying? East 67. So, you know, that's Parkway Garden. Parkway Garden Christian Church. Down there. You know what I'm saying? And why I like that church is because they got an outreach. They got an outreach. They give out clothes. Once I seen that, I'm on board. Because I know the money I give you is going to be for that community to give out the clothes over there on the O Block and everything. And you think the hood ain't getting them clothes? You think the hood ain't getting them clothes for their children? And you think the hood ain't getting the resources? And I think they give out food too, if I'm not mistaken. And they most likely do. If they give out clothes, they give out food. Because you give clothes to somebody, the first thing they're gonna be thinking about, do you got something to eat? So more times than not, if you find a church giving out clothes, they're giving out food too. So, you know, and other things, you know, and so, you know, that's a perfect example. You know what I'm saying? How I'm giving down there to the East 67 and on the O Block. I know about that, man. O Block, Tuckerville. I sit down and listen to the real history. You know what I'm saying? I know about Tuckerville and I know about the O Block. That was both named after two dudes. You know, as far as the slang, O Block was named after a dude. Tuckerville was named after a dude. And them the two rivals right there. But yeah, like I said, I'm you know what I'm saying? Because I seen King Von back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I used to watch King Von rap videos and all of that. I know about King Von. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty relevant when it comes to like Southside Chicago hip hop with King Von, you know, and I hate that happened to him in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I seen that too. You know what I'm saying? So it's things I see, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't sing songs about it. Like I said, like some people do, you know, I know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I outreach, man, you know what I'm saying? I give back like that. I send cash down there to O Block, you know what I'm saying? And I want to send a lot more. I mean, as a matter of fact, that's going to be my objective this year, is to send a significant amount of money down there to the O Block. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's one thing I want to do, because that's what I've been trying to do for like the past 2 years. Like I started giving to like 2 other churches in Chicago. And so it's 2 other churches I support in Chicago, and they reached back out to me and everything, and it's been love. But my main objective was to send money down there to Southside Chicago, where it's a lot of things going on down there. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I do definitely want to send a significant amount of money down there. I finally found a church down there in the old block because I talked to somebody from Chicago. I move around a lot. I talked to an old school dude from Chicago, but this is when I was in California. And I was telling them, this is how transparent I am. I was telling them about me supporting a church down in Southside Chicago, and I told him the address was South LaSalle Street. He was like, "No, that's not Southside Chicago." He was basically saying, one goes vertical or horizontal. They go the opposite. So he was like, "No, that's not Southside Chicago." So I thought about his words. This dude, that's old school Chicago, right? Which gets respect. I'm talking to this dude that's really lived there, everything like that. So, but I'm in California. True story. I seen him at the hospital. He was working as security at the hospital. And I was telling him, I was being transparent about my Christian walk and telling him what I was doing, supporting churches in Chicago. And I told him about South LaSalle Street down the South Side. He's like, "No, that ain't South Side." So I made it my business, like, to go find churches and down there in the old block, literally, you know what I'm saying? And then that's when I found Parkway Christian, and everybody know that's what it is, Parkway Garden Christian. So I finally got that done last year. Now 2024, I was sending up to other churches in Chicago. But by 2025, I got it. I finally got to where I wanted to be, where I was giving down to the old block. You know what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I choose churches down there, like I've explained before, is because you got the toughest Christians down there. And they understand the elements of conspiracy because of the tough neighborhoods they in. So if I send them a prayer request about being gang stalked or conspiracy from my own community, they gonna believe me because they around conspiracy, they families and all type of stuff and conspiracies, and they've seen conspiracies in real life. So I don't deal with Christians usually that's on the outside of tough neighborhoods, because here in America, because they gonna doubt. I've had it happen. They gonna doubt you and think you tripping. So you have to talk to these hardcore neighborhoods that understand the element of conspiracy, and they gonna take it seriously. They ain't gonna doubt you. You don't need to be sending no money to me. I ain't sending no money to some church that doubts this conspiracy around me and these people in my politics and all of that. Now, if I go to a church that's hardcore and in a hardcore neighborhood, they gonna believe every word I'm talking about, because they see conspiracy all the time, and they see the same people all the time. They see the same type of people plotting on each other, scheming and all of that. Politics and street politics, they know about all this yapping and talking and everything. Some of them have been through it themselves, or they done heard other stories. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that's another strategy that I have. And I know for sure that these gang stalkers be out here spinning the block on these churches, corny stuff. I know that, man. I know. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be spinning the block on these churches like it's something, like they going back and forth with these churches like lames, man. It don't even make no sense, do it? But they trying to curse the man of God. Let's just say, for example, I give to a church, right? Okay. Let's say it's not hardcore. It's not the hood. You know what I'm saying? Let's say it's not the hood. They gonna feel even more comfortable with just spreading like a disease in that whole community, trying to curse this preacher that I'm giving money to. You see what I'm saying, right? This is what they doing, and I know that. They going any place that they are aware of that we give to, they gonna go to those cities and gang stalk the preacher and gang stalk the whole church that we give it to. And how I know? I seen the changes. See, when you being gang stalked, you can see the changes in others, and you know they being gang stalked too. So I started looking at the preachers, and I could tell they being gang stalked. I'm like, okay, that's happening. That's why I don't take it personal if they aggravated, or if they show signs of stress or anger. I know what it is. It's them being gang stalked. They're going through being gang stalked, man. So but see, in a soft neighborhood, the gang stalkers have a field day. They love to put you in a soft part of town so they can do what they do without having to face the neighborhood, a hard neighborhood. So my strategy has been that the hard neighborhood works as a fortress around the ministry that I'm given to, where these gang stalkers can't go to a city and gang stalk the community, the Christian church that I'm given to. That's the reason why it forms as a fortress. They ain't gonna. It's a fortress. They ain't gonna go down there to the old block playing around, man. No, they not. They know better than that. They know better than that. So then when I put money down there, I know you ain't gonna follow. I know you ain't gonna try to go down there with no witchcraft. No, you're not. No, you're not. Even them black folks down there, that use witchcraft, if they do, they probably got, it's witchcraft everywhere. But they know how to carry. They know that, listen, they can't play with so much games down there. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. So that's why I give to these hard neighborhoods, just in case you didn't know. You know what I'm saying? You think I might be trying to be affiliated, like on some lame stuff? Nah, it's not that at all. I know I'm getting the right type of Christians. And I know that neighborhood gonna work as a fortress around the ministry. I told you I'm a real strategist, man. A real warfare tactic strategist. I sit back and have a lot of time to think about it. And I started with not supporting people that don't understand this gang stalking and stuff we going through. They don't understand it. Why should I support? They on the outside. I can count on one hand how many ministries I do actually support, but that don't talk about this stuff. I can count with one hand. Well, it's a lot of Christians. It's probably some of these ministries don't talk about that I'm giving to. A lot of them do. But they stay in hard neighborhoods, so I know they understand conspiracy. If I break it down to them, they not gonna doubt me. So I'm still good. You feel me? Even though they ain't talking about the gang stalking per se. Because some of the gang stalkers can't even get to some of them neighborhoods, like the old block, they can't get down there. You know what I'm saying? So they might not talk about it at their church. But they gonna believe me when I talk about it. See, it's gotta be one of those elements. They either talk about it or they believe me if I'm talking about it. And outside the country, they gonna believe it too. I send money down to South America, they gonna believe what I'm talking about with these Americans, because look at all this happening now. They ain't gonna doubt me. They gonna think about me. Oh yeah, he said the Americans was enemies and all this stuff they doing. We believe that. Look at the stuff they did to Maduro. Now the Colombians is gonna believe me. They gonna think about me. And they gonna think, oh yeah, that one guy that sent that letter from America, now we believe him. Look at the stuff that they doing. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because they ain't gonna be biased. People outside the country ain't gonna be biased. You know what I'm saying? They not. That's why I choose people outside the country. And if I work with people in America, I choose hard neighborhoods. I choose the hood. Because I know if I send you a prayer request and to pray for me about conspiracy and everything, you gonna believe it. You gonna believe it. You ain't gonna say, well, I don't know if that's true. Maybe you're going crazy. See, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Like, I was trying to find a church in East LA, right? East Los Angeles. So the first church I found was like this, I found a good one now, and they 100. They 100. So, but the first church I found, and I sent them money too. And but it was, and this is not, I'm not saying this is because of ethnicity, but it might do influence it though. Like they were Asian people, Koreans, right? And I let them know my whole situation with the gang stalkers and everything, woo woo, right? Man, they wrote me a letter. They wrote me a letter talking about, well, we don't know if we kind of believe, maybe they're not your enemies, and maybe they not doing this. As soon as they said that, something to that effect, I didn't write them anymore. Because that's the perfect example. Is some Christians that is in controlled environments, suburban neighborhoods, they will not believe you. They will have this how I put it, this good behavioral club attitude where they're extremely optimistic and not in the real world we live in, where there's all type of conspiracy and all of that kind of stuff, right? So so with that being said, I stopped writing them. That was the first church in East New York. Now, once I went to another church, I found another church in East New York. East Los Angeles. East Los Angeles, if you don't know, it's one of the most hardest Hispanic Mexican neighborhoods in the country. The communities. It's not a neighborhood, it's a community. Just like Brooklyn. It's a huge community, right? Not as nearly as big as a borough, but it's a very huge community. I've been through it. And so I had a friend out in East Los Angeles. It's all that stuff we see on TV with the gang culture with the Mexicans. That was all East Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to go to. If you're Mexican, and somebody in your family probably want to go to East Los Angeles. You know what I'm saying? To visit. You know what I'm saying? It's a prominent Mexican community in America. You know what I'm saying? And black people respect it. Black people can't even come over there tripping. Not in East Los Angeles. Even in LA, ain't nobody from LA in the black neighborhoods gonna come over there in East Los Angeles and trip and act like they don't know, cause they know it'll be a war if anything pop off, a real war. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, they ain't nobody gonna try. Everybody know that. They didn't even listen. That ain't even a challenge or a threat. That's just how it is. I know that for sure. Just I don't need it to be spelled out to me. I already seen enough. I've heard enough. And I have enough information to know black people can't even go over there and trip. Black people cannot go over there in East Los Angeles and trip. No, they can't. That's where that's where the most toughest gangsters is. Gangster Mexicans is. All that stuff you see on TV, the main community that project that as far as old school, the most is going to be East Los Angeles. East Los Angeles project that more accurately. Where you got the Mexican gangsters, they project that more accurately than any other Mexican community in America. Everybody it's like almost like Spanish Harlem. You know what I mean? That's what it's like. It's that prominent. You know what I'm saying? It's like the equivalent of Spanish Harlem on the West Coast. Everybody know what Spanish Harlem is, even if you ain't lived in New York. Right? You've heard it. Even though you might not know too much, you've heard Spanish Harlem before. Spanish Harlem, you've heard it, right? East LA is like the Spanish Harlem. It's their own community. It's the most prominent community. It's famous. It's famous just like Spanish Harlem. So it's just I had to get me some soldiers over there, and you know what? And I found me some good soldiers, and they've been 10 toes down from day one, just like I wanted it. That's and a matter of fact, that's what I'm about to support next. You know what I'm saying? I gotta send. I can always send all these other places I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I always prioritize those who show love first. I prioritize those who reach out to me personally first, and just like halfway anticipated. Like the Mexicans in East LA held me down. I've been working with them for now. This is gonna be 2 years this year, and they wish me a good happy Father's Day. They tell me Happy Father's Day. They 100. They 100 like I expect. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mind giving them money. I tell them, yo, take this money and use it for food, whatever you need it for. Because I know good Christians gonna say, well, we hungry, we need stuff, but this is money for church. I don't tell them that. You know what I'm saying? I don't tell them that. You know what I'm saying? I write them and let them know. Use this money as you want. I done sent them some money since I've been back in New York. You know what I'm saying? But I was offline. I couldn't confirm it. But like I usually like to do, because they always confirm it, show me the letter. That's how 100 they are. They show me the letter. They take a picture of the envelope coming in, the money coming in, everything. They show me that they got it, everything. Solid, 100, thorough. You know what I'm saying? Very thorough. So, because I know they around East Los Angeles, I know they gonna be 100. So I talk to them about the conspiracy that I'm around and everything. Somebody from East Los Angeles ain't gonna doubt me. When they see all this real stuff popping off in the world, they ain't gonna doubt me. They see the real stuff going on around Los Angeles. It's only these lame cities, these lame neighborhoods that be doubting people and acting like you crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't affiliate myself with nobody that don't understand conspiracy in the streets and don't see it going on in the real world. That's outside my world. So I only connect to people really in my world, if that makes sense. They got my principles, seen my principles at one point in their life, or they still have real street principles, and they see real stuff going on because they got family that's in those neighborhoods. So even though they Christians, they still got real stuff going on in their family and in the community. You know what I'm saying? They hearing all kind of language, all kind of principles, everything, politics, everything, street politics. So I deal with those type of ministries, those type of Christians. You know what I'm saying? I wash my hands of people that would doubt me, and I know what I'm talking about. I had one ministry do that in East LA. They wrote me a letter, but it was Koreans in East LA. You know, I sent them some money. You know what I'm saying? And but see, it's still I still got blessed. You know what I'm saying? But I need that vibration to be right. When we on the same page spiritually. You know what I'm saying? So they can pray for you effectively, because they'll pray for you as if like you crazy out your mind or you paranoid. You know, that's what anybody that ain't from the streets gonna think. If you don't understand how this move out here, and people tell you all kind of crazy stories of conspiracy, of people scheming on each other, plotting on each other, you gonna think, if you on the outside, well, I don't know how real that is. I don't know if I believe that. You know, but somebody that done been through conspiracy is gonna believe it, or in that environment. So I just thought, as a war tactician, why play with people in these suburban nice neighborhoods, but they don't understand the element of conspiracy, and that's all that's going on right now with God's people. I mean, we going through basically conspiracy. That's all it is. They conspiring to do this, conspiring to do that, conspiring to do this and do that. That's what it is. It could be little things, but it's still conspiracy. If they conspiring to anger you for the day, they're conspiring to play around your mind, they're conspiring to put people around you, that's still conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? They sitting up talking and politicking, that's still conspiracy, bro. That's how it is. It might not be on the same level, but it's still conspiracy. You know, and you need other Christians that understand the element of conspiracy. That's how you know who from the ghetto. That's how you know who from the streets. It's some stuff you can't make up, which is like understanding the element of conspiracy. A lame ain't gonna shed too much light on these certain elements like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that somebody that really has been exposed to certain things and understand the streets is gonna talk about. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I talk to people. I affiliate with Christians that understand conspiracy. They live in the tough parts of America, and I like helping them that much more because they in tough neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? I know it's gonna go. Every dollar gonna be appreciated. It might be a sandwich. It might be something you can do for yourself. I always let people know, use it as you need to. You know what I'm saying? Don't feel like you gotta just put it in the collection plate. Long as it is helping God's people or strengthening God's people. Well, if you are a preacher and I'm putting a sandwich in your stomach, that's good. That's good. That's good, because I'm still advancing God's kingdom by giving you something to eat. You know what I'm saying? So, that's how I see it. As long as I'm helping God's people, I'm advancing the kingdom of God. That's how I see it. So, like I said, that's how I am today. I don't deal with no churches, and I'm not doing it to be tough or cool or have this little fake kind of vibe, posing. It ain't nothing like that. I showed you all the sense it makes. You know what I'm saying? If you go to a ministry and you tell them about conspiracy and they don't seem to understand that, they don't take it seriously. Okay, so you're gonna be looked at as, you see what I'm saying? You're gonna be looked at as some kind of crazy person or something. They ain't gonna like to see you coming. They ain't gonna like to read your letters. They ain't gonna have concern for you, because they don't understand the element of conspiracy. You know what I'm saying? You need to be dealing with real hardcore people. You know what I'm saying? That understand, okay, the preacher know I live in this neighborhood. I understand the element of conspiracy. I believe everything he's saying. I know it's true. Okay? And then they're going to pray more effectively. They're going to fast for you, pray for you. And their spiritual energy is going to counter that, what you're going through, effectively, because they're going to have faith in the right area. They're gonna realize things and have faith toward those things. They ain't gonna doubt it. They're gonna have faith to defeat it. Not doubt it. Not doubt these things. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I don't deal with nothing but the best. I go to South Side Chicago, Detroit on Puritan Avenue in Detroit. I work with Christians on Puritan Avenue, St. Louis, and Grievous Park. I can call off the neighborhoods, Grievous Park and everything. Memphis and downtown. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the hardest part. Memphis is downtown. So on 2nd Street, I think on 2nd Street, yeah. So I'm dealing with, I dealt with Memphis, I deal with St. Louis. St. Louis was the murder capital. You know what I'm saying? And then I found out Jackson was the murder capital. So I sent money down to Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Jackson, Mississippi. Jackson, Mississippi was the murder capital. They just killed 6 people down there in Mississippi. So that tell you, it's like, it's on fire down there. You know what I'm saying? So like, I sent, maybe like a month ago, about 2 months ago, I sent about a month and a half, some change like that, right? I sent like a little money down to Jackson, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I sent this pretty decent amount of money down there. You know what I'm saying? To me, a pretty decent amount of money is when you can feed somebody, or you can feed yourself, or something like that. Yeah. So I sent some money down to Mississippi. Down there, that's since I've been here. I've been working with Mississippi because I can't let certain black people think they the only one that's black. I got to get with my tribe. I got to get with my black people. See, that's how you got to play it. You can't let them push you on the outside like you don't represent black people and make you feel like you can't be with no black people. You don't let nobody treat you like a dog like that. Like, just because they got problems with you and they ignorant and everything like that, and they done played the fool, you know what I'm saying, like you ain't even black. You know what I'm saying? No. If anything, people gonna question your blackness, not mine. So that part, I'm gonna get down with my black people that will slide and ride for me, just like any other situation, like situations on the streets. I'm gonna get down with my black people that will ride with me and stand on my side. So I got with Jackson, Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? That was, I'm working with them. Yeah, because that was the murder capital. Like, I get with the murder capitals too. You know what I'm saying? Because I know they the hardest. I know they 100. So I find Christian churches in the murder capitals. That's what I've been doing. You know what I'm saying? St. Louis was one of the murder capitals. Grievous Park, that's a neighborhood that's one of the most, they got the most body counts, the most bodies, the most people dead. You know what I'm saying? So I connected to St. Louis and Grievous Park and found a church over there. You know what I'm saying? And I supported them. I touched bases, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to get back with them too, you know what I'm saying? Grievous Park and everything. So I done got so used to my war and my strategies, you know what I'm saying? I'm fluent with talking about these different cities and the neighborhoods and everything. So, like I said, Grievous Park, you wouldn't know unless you look it up. Grievous Park St. Louis was the murder capital. Yup. That was the murder capital, man. That's one of them overlooked, murder capitals. Yup. Yeah, because St. Louis was, I was working with Hawaii. I'm just giving you some ideas. Hawaii, England, Alaska. Yeah, I was working with Alaska. I sent money to Alaska, Compton, California. I sent money to Compton. I got me a church in Compton. Yep. Maine, I thought that would be good. Oakland, the state of Maine, I way up there. In Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So we not playing with these suburban people, because this neighborhood right here is considered to me suburban. I don't care how you try to beef it up to be something it's not. To me, this is basically a suburban neighborhood to a man like me. Cause one telltale sign is something you might overlook is they don't give $10 back in the ATM. If you in the hood, they gonna get all that money. That's how I know you ain't in the hood. Something you wouldn't think about. The ATM in the hood, that's you gonna get $10 back out that ATM if you got $10 on your card. You know what I'm saying? Like this, that's how I know it's not the hood. Cause people gonna complain. And it's so easy to adjust, you know. It's not hard to adjust. You get $10 back out the ATM, you need that. Being over here, I have $10 in the ATM, I can't even get it out. The cash, you know what I'm saying? You can't even get it out. You in the hood, they gonna have, right or wrong, they gonna have $10 ATMs. That's how you know you're in the ghetto. That's how I feel these days. You know you ain't dealing with no okie dokes. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Seattle, I'm working with Seattle. I'm working with Kansas too, yeah. You know, I just went all in. You know what I'm saying? That's what I had to do. But yeah, you know, that's just if you don't tighten up and do what you gotta do as far as this spiritual war, before you know it, man, you're gonna be in jail for hurting one of these people. That's what's gonna happen to you. You know what I'm saying? You get that spiritual warfare off of you by getting these lame people, cause see, the police, this is something that's good for my age. And if you my age, this is what you need to know. Most of these cops is younger than me and you. They just look old. I can't tell you why. But most of them are young and wet behind the ears to a certain degree. And they come out there with them weak talents, them weak military talents. They come out here with them weak military talents, and they ain't nothing. Yeah, I just wanted to see what that Memphis church was. Yeah, I got a church down in Memphis on 2nd Street, like I said. That's why I don't forget nothing, but that was 2 years ago. That was 2024. See, each year I got different churches I give to. I don't give to the same churches every year. It's a strategy for every year. That's how you hit it. I got new strategies for this year. But right now, I'm working with and that matter of fact, that's something I gotta do. I gotta get all my churches together for this year. I've been so focused on Colombia, South America. I got some of them, I think, but I didn't get them all together because I've been focused on Colombia, South America. That's been great because I'm sending like $1 million down there. Yeah, so like I'm gearing up for that, to do that in the next 2 days. And you know what I'm saying? I'm on my fast. I come off the day. Woo, 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 woo. I come off the day, but yeah, Memphis, 2nd Street. Everybody know it. South 2nd Street. Everybody know in Memphis it's about 2nd Street. You know what I'm saying? I found me a church there. Puritan Avenue. You know what I'm saying? I found me a church there. Potomac Street. That's Grievous Park. Potomac Street. And South LaSalle Street, that's what I was doing. In East LA. In DC, oh yeah, DC. On V Street. People in Anacostia know about V Street, right? So I found me a good church down there, and them people, good people. They sent me, a matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I didn't see them on TV, I didn't know them or nothing, right? But I just started sending money. Right? And they're another community that I like to give to because they always show appreciation and everything like that. So once I know it's like that, I always stay relevant, you know, with those churches, no matter if it's from year to year. Like, for example, that DC church was 2024, like 2 years ago. But I'm still working with them because it's they reached out to me personally. Like, this is one of the first letters they sent me right here. This is from DC, from Anacostia, down in the hood. Anybody know DC? Anacostia is the hood. Anacostia, if I'm saying that right. Anacostia is the hood, right? So, yeah, Anacostia. So, this is a letter they sent me in response to me giving an offering to their church. And then they sent me a personal letter and put my name on there and some stickers on there. And that was what, August 2024, yeah. But see, that's how nice they are. You know what I'm saying? And so little birds on there and everything. So it's cool. You know what I'm saying? That was nice of them. They sent me that letter and everything. You know, so I always stay relevant with them because of that. You know what I'm saying? That's what make me stay 100 with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you know, so. Yeah, so they like, this is another letter. This is just the letter from Anacostia. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That was back in June in 2024. So coming on 2 years ago, I've been working with Anacostia, you know, so that's why, like, it's too late for people to, you know, to play with me. You know, just another little letter they sent me. A little letter. They like the birds. But I like birds, so it was like, they didn't even know that, but they didn't even know I like birds. But see, that's how God works. You know what I'm saying? God works. They gave me something that God knew I would like. You know? But yeah, that just shows you what type of people they are, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I stay relevant with them. You know, in New York, I have a guy down in Southside Jamaica that be working in Harlem. You know, I sent him an offering, and I only got one dude I work with. He was real. He reached out to me, prayed for me. He was 100. He was down in Southside, right down in Southside Jamaica. So how he reached out to me, I felt so good about it that how he prayed for me and everything, and I just sent him some money. Told him to get him something, you know, look out for yourself, get you something to eat. That's the man of God. He said, he gave me his card. Little did he know what type of man I was. That's the funny part about it. He had no idea I was that type of man. But he prayed for me. I wound up coming to his church, going down the south side for some reason. And it was this is how I know it was God. I had my cell phone. I was trying to check something on my cell phone. So it was a sunny day because it was like summertime. Like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, something like that. So, like, to get some shade, I kind of went over to this church door entrance. I didn't even know it was a church because it's just like a building without really any signs or anything. So I kind of went over and to see my phone into this little doorway entrance where I could get some shade. And the door was open and it looked like a church. So me being a Christian, you know, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm good with intuition. I just went in and looked. And I seen some Christians in there. He's like, come on in, you know. And so I listened to his message while he was preaching, while he was talking. He was just being transparent from the heart. And I felt like I got what I needed. When he said what he said, I felt like I got what I needed. You know, the man of God was just like saying, you know, we're all flawed. You know, they're basically when nobody's perfect or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He just really put that seed in my heart. You know what I'm saying? But once he said that, I felt like I got what I needed, and I was about to go out. He was like, yo, hey, how you doing? You know, can I pray for you? So I was like, yeah. So he prayed for me, laid hands on me, you know what I'm saying? And the ladies of the church prayed for me and everything. And one of the ladies of the church prayed for me. So after that, I made it my business to give to that church. So I got his information. He gave me his card. But little did he know I'm a Christian myself. He didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And so I sent him some money or whatever. Yeah, when I got some money, I made, like, once I see somebody's heart in the right place, that's when I make it my business to help them. You know what I'm saying? It's to support what they do. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you get your blessing. So as far as here in New York, I got somebody down in Southside Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? And when I feel the need to, when I'll connect back with them. You know what I'm saying? But see, that's one of the preachers that I deal with here in New York was somebody that's in between Harlem and Southside Jamaica. So that's gonna be somebody also that understand conspiracy. They gonna understand what's going on in this real world we live in. You know what I'm saying? And he probably done been at his age. He probably done been through some things. He might have been out here in the streets at one point in his life himself. So when I let him know what's going on, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna be alone. You know what I'm saying? Cause see, that's most important, that you don't get hooked up with some Christians that's kind of kooky, and they not really connected to this world we live in right now with all this crazy stuff going on. You need real Christians that knows what's going on right now, and that's real. You know what I'm saying? You don't need nobody out here that halfway doubt you and think you crazy and think you don't got good mental health or whatever, and you know what you know from your street intuition. You don't need nobody to spell it out to you, man. You know what I'm saying? If you're a veteran on the streets, you don't need nobody to spell out conspiracy to you. You know what it is. So that's just like somebody that's been in prison. That person understands conspiracy. He don't second guess his intuition. He don't second guess his what he feel. You know what I'm saying? And it saves your life in different ways. So that's the same thing with me. That's why after 2024, man, I just started sliding. I started working with like Detroit, St. Louis, New Orleans. New Orleans is another one too. Instead of going to the hood in New Orleans, I could have easily done that. But in the years ahead, or the time ahead, I'm probably gonna work. I think I already got that lined up a couple years from now, because I already got like up into 2029. I already know what I'm gonna do up into 2029. I got projects, you know what I'm saying? And when you do it like that, it's just an easier spiritual path when you set them long-term goals like that. So I already got, my churches, that the locations, as far as the locations where I'm going to be given to up into 2029, you know what I'm saying? So I already got that mapped out. I got 2027 mapped out, 2028, 2029. So I'm like good as far as what cities and locations I'll be given to up into the next 3 years into 2030. So I'm already got that mapped out. I already know what I'm gonna do and everything. So, but New Orleans, I'm gonna go to the hood the next time around when I start giving to New Orleans. But in the beginning, I went with the French Quarter. The French Quarter, which is famous. Everybody know the French Quarter in New Orleans, right? So I started sending money down there, and this dude was nice too. The dude there, he would send me personal letters from New Orleans and everything, because my logic with New Orleans wasn't even the streets, to be honest with you. My logic with New Orleans was finding a church down there was to find people that was equipped with understanding witchcraft and all of that. So in New Orleans, they ain't gonna doubt you if you start talking about, back to doubt, they ain't gonna doubt you if you start talking about witchcraft. They know it's real. They ain't gonna doubt you and say, well, you might be tripping. And like, you'll find some black people say, I don't even believe in witchcraft. Like, really, bruh? Really, bruh? You don't believe in witchcraft? Wow. Okay. See, you can't deal with Christians like that in these times. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't deal with Christians like that. They too far behind. You know what I'm saying? They too far behind. Milwaukee, that's another city. Milwaukee, that's one of them odd cities. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, here's a personal letter from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? This dude, he actually wrote me when he was in Texas, but this is a dude that wrote me a personal letter from New Orleans, sent me a book. He sent me a book. Matter of fact, it's better to show you the book. These are all my books I got from this dude in New Orleans, from New Orleans. This the preacher. So this shows you my money ain't just going somewhere and ain't nobody responding back. So this is the 2 books I got. Matter of fact, I need to go back through these books. But this is the dude. This is a dude, you know, Pastor Present, Robert Present. That's his name, you know. But real good dude. Reach out to me and everything, making sure I'm good, everything. And I just was transparent with him about my life and everything I've been through. But yeah, he wrote me. These are the letters he wrote me. You know what I'm saying? These from New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? So those are people that understand witchcraft. And this is a little personal letter he wrote me. But basically just, you know what I'm saying? It says, thank you for your continued generosity and gospel partnership. Your gifts enable us to advance the kingdom and push back the darkness. Your gift helps us to enables us to advance the kingdom and push back the darkness. We are praying the defeat of your enemies and the victory of the Lord in New York and beyond. I wanted to send you my latest devotion book as a way of saying thank you for your partnership. Together with you, Robert Preston. See, that right there, that goes a long way. That's what I'm telling you, what preachers do. This is what a preacher did. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just take the money and, you know what I'm saying, and did. You know what I'm saying? He sent me another book. This is the second book. This is the package for the second book. So this is somebody down in New Orleans. So I connected with them and everything like that. I just got in the trenches, man. That's why, like, if people want to go to war, that's what we're going to do. That's why this is the same message. This is the same topic. I'm showing you the logistics of it. I'm showing you the details, the logistics of going to war. You know what I'm saying? On the spiritual warfare tip. You know, it ain't a game. It's not no game. That's why, like, these young dudes out here, you know, I would love to inspire them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of movements out here with these young Christian rappers and everything. I would like to inspire them to be just like this, what I showed you, talking about giving to these neighborhoods and everything like that. If they get on that tip like that, it's all over. They just got to get the right teachers to teach them about fasting and giving. And you know what I'm saying? If I could do that through YouTube and inspire them, you know what I'm saying, guys like that, you know what I'm saying, to just give radically, be a radical giver. Give to these different, don't just give to your home church. Just start reaching out to all these churches across America, in the hood and everything, across the world. You know what I'm saying? Don't be just limited to giving to your church. No preacher should be just telling you to give just to his church. He don't just give to you. I mean, well, you know what I mean. He don't just give to his own church. He gives to churches all around the world. A good preacher give to all type of churches, all type of causes and everything. Better to say he gives to all type of causes. You know, so a good preacher ain't gonna stop you from giving to all kind of causes around the world just because that's your home church. You still can give to other churches. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's real. That's real. You can be right there and map things out and know when the next time you're gonna give to your home church, and sometimes set some money apart and give to these other churches around the country and the world. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta just feel like you gotta obligated to give to just your home church. You do support the man of God that's there feeding you, literally sometimes, but at the same time, he gives all around the community too. So he would totally understand. He or she would totally understand. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know who cultic or not. If somebody just don't want you to give money to nowhere, I don't trust a church like that. Because it's the body of Christ. It's the whole community need help. The whole Christian community needs help. Okay, not just one church, not just my home church, so to speak. You know, so if I could just inspire these young radical soldiers to start giving, because I heard one, you know what I'm saying, and this rapper named Seven, this Christian rapper named Seven, yeah, I gotta call it out, man, because it's about what he said, like about 2 years ago, going on 3 years ago. You know, he was like, some of these preachers, some of these Christians out here want to give money, and they think because the Bible, they think they're gonna get rich that way by giving seed, sowing seed. So he looked at what I was doing, or what other Christians was doing, as like we trying to get rich. That's ignorance. You know what I'm saying? I'm first and foremost, like I said, you understand where I'm coming from. I'm trying to support those who help the community. I ain't think about just getting rich. I'm helping those as a genuine Christian that are helping the outreaches in these communities, right? Okay, so that's one of the reasons. Not getting rich, helping people in the community, right? So I know that some of these churches I give to is, I try to get as much as possible. I try to get churches with outreaches, right? That's going, like in the old block in Chicago, they gonna outreach. That church give out clothes. I already know that, right? So I'm going give to churches that help the people. That's not trying to get rich. I just explained that 20 minutes ago, so you can go back and watch it to see how genuine and sincere I am with my approach to giving to these churches. That's number one. Number two, which is number one actually, I give to support the work of God. Okay, that's number one. Without any, with true understanding of who God is and his work, without any other motives, you know what I'm saying? And then in my understanding of God's word, the third reason is I know that as I give, it shall be given unto me. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give into my bosom. So it's obviously tangible things, because it says men. It's two ways it's the tangible world. Men and them giving to my bosom. Those are two indications that it's the tangible world, talking about tangible things they should give to me as I give. You know what I'm saying? As I give, it shall come back to me. That's common sense, as far as spiritual common sense, as far as spiritual reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? So I heard him say, like a couple years ago, like in 2023, I think, you know what I'm saying, these people out here, like, because people think they're your OGs, because I look young in the face because I'm Filipino. I'm part Filipino. So I got that young look because I'm Filipino, right? I really am. I'm part Filipino. So people will look at me and I got that baby face, right? And they'll think they need to teach me something, like I'm ignorant or something. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And I say that, I don't say that in an arrogant way, but I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So, people out here that don't, maybe a lot of these Christian rappers was watching me and they heard about me in the politics, and you feel like, you just sat back and watched it. You thought I was just totally ignorant based off of all the other stuff you heard. Maybe it was just easy for you to think I needed correction, and I didn't. You know what I mean, right? And so I heard that dude, that rapper, Christian rapper named Seven. He was the main one, talking about, I heard him say something about, you can go back and look at the video on his page. You're going to have to go back to about 2023, where he talking about giving, anything referring to giving offerings or giving, something to that effect. And it's still up. I guarantee it's still up on the page. So you don't got to take my word for it. You can go back and look at it yourself. I don't never say nothing that ain't true. And you can tell my personality, especially on Christians. I ain't going to ever say nothing that ain't true. But this dude was talking in terms of giving offerings. With all that I said, with understanding the man of God needs the lights on at the church, the man of God needs help. Okay, so we talking about that too. We talking about the practical approach to helping God's people that's out here on their own. They got 2 mortgages. I mean, this is not trying to only trying to be prosperous. You know what I'm saying? I don't exclude that at all, but it's not limited to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at the practical situation of the preacher, where he out there, you know what I'm saying, with 2 mortgages. You know what I'm saying? Some Christians will come to the church and act like, or some worldly people will come there and act like, you know, it's no sense in helping this person. You know, and that's foolishness, man. This person is out there with 2 mortgages. And you don't feel the need to help this person, and he preaching the gospel, and then some of them are in full-time ministry. You know what I'm saying? They're in full-time ministry, and you don't feel the need to help this person. He dedicating his life to the gospel. And you know what I'm saying? He got two mortgages. You know what I'm saying? He paying rent. You know, and he paying water and lights, and you don't feel the need to give money. See, people just assume what you know who I am, man. You know what I'm saying? And I that's why I say things for the record for myself, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, and if I say something to the streets, you know I'm gonna say something to people that's Christians. That's just facts. I don't have no hesitation with saying something to the streets. You can go through my videos and see that. So if you think I'm just picking on rappers or Christian rappers or whatever, you think I'm just picking a weak link, I'm not saying you're a weak link, but you know how people think. Because that person's a Christian, that's why you saying something. But you know better than that about me, man. You already know. You already know, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, I'm not saying in a disrespectful way. I'm not being disrespectful. But I just think people say things in ignorance, man, and we gotta be making sure we're not teaching ignorance. Because these offerings, man, is spiritual warfare right now. You know what I'm saying? That the spiritual reciprocity that come back for that, we not trying to get rich. We trying to end these gang stalkers. And I'm pretty sure that by now you know all about it. Okay, we trying to end these gang stalkers and these lames out here doing witchcraft against God's people. That's what we trying to do, man. You know, as far as spiritual reciprocity, I mean, I invite riches right now, but honestly, right now, I mean, and even back then, you know, I wasn't looking for like to be a millionaire, a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? But to say that I'm excluding it, no, I'm not excluding it. You know, but my main objective was, and I know this for sure, it was my offering is about my spiritual warfare, about handling this spiritual warfare out here. That's what it's about. And I'm pretty sure you can go back and watch my videos and see it's insinuated all through my videos. You know, I'm all about my right now, my spiritual warfare, winning my wars. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just want to make that crystal clear. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm coming from, because people will think you corny and think you just out here just throwing money out and ain't nothing gonna happen. I done seen it happen. I done seen spiritual reciprocity from giving offerings and helping God's people. I done seen it. I wouldn't do nothing that I don't see nothing coming from it. I don't see it. Don't make no sense to me. That's why I can break it down to everybody. And by the time I get done with it, by the time I get done with a topic, you gonna agree with me. The man of God got 2 mortgages and they don't agree with helping the church. And he helping all the kids and helping all the community. Of course, I'm gonna help him. And some churches got soup kitchens too. They got soup kitchens. They feed the people. I'm gonna help this person, and I guarantee you, whatever my immediate need is that God sees, that He's gonna take care of my needs. You know what I'm saying? The Bible says God is not mocked. Whatever a man soweth, that shall he reap. That's the principle for spiritual reciprocity in general. If you get it. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. That's the foundation for spiritual reciprocity. Sowing and reaping. It's common sense. You know, so, you know, maybe people thought I was a young buck out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm almost 50 years old. I can't stress that enough. I don't know when people think they're going to get around to respecting me as a man, but I'm almost 50 years old. So I'm not waiting for it. You know what I'm saying? I take my respect. You know what I mean? Like I said, Malcolm X was 39. I say respectfully. MLK was 39. I'm older than them. I'm older than both of them. Okay? Obviously. You know? And so when I supposed to get around to getting my respect like I supposed to, like a leader supposed to, and Malcolm X was walking around here getting respect from the whole country. MLK was getting respect from the whole country. I'm talking about based off of age and being taken seriously based off of, because people look at me like I'm young. I'm older than Malcolm X. That's what I tell people. Oh, you a young man, you a kid. Oh, I'm a kid. So what Malcolm X was? He was a kid too. Well, he was 39. I'm older than him. Yeah, you're gonna be offended. When you older than Malcolm X or somebody calling you a kid, that's how you know you're a man. You done came to be. That's how you know. That's the mystery. That's how you know. You don't tolerate nobody. I don't tolerate nobody calling me a kid. And my son is 18 years old. He's not even legally a kid. He's an adult. My son is an adult. Now imagine somebody calling me a kid, and my son is an adult. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. I know what it is, man. It's kind of racist because when you got different bloodlines, like I'm part Filipino, right? I'm part Asian, right? I didn't know I was Asian until I did my DNA test. I'm part Asian, Filipino. So you mix Asian with black, you gonna look young forever. You follow me, right? Okay. So anybody with a brain and seen people know that a person that's black and Asian gonna look very young forever, right? With that being said, it's kind of like a form of racism to size me up the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not able to see somebody like me that's almost 50 years old, but I'm part black and Filipino. So that's just all it is, man. In other races, I'm also other ethnicities too. But I'm just pointing those two out because when you bring them two together, like they say, black don't crack. And then when you bring Filipino together with that, I'm going to look young. I'm going to look like a young man. I'm going to look young for a long time. So, that's just ignorance, man. Sometimes people don't pay attention and look at you long enough or good enough to even see what you are, what color you are, race you are, ethnicity you are. And that happened a lot to me. Now that you see that I'm black and Filipino, okay, you can kind of get more of an idea of my vibration. Also, you see what I'm saying? And that's all I'm saying, man. So, people didn't know I was Filipino. They didn't know I was Filipino all my life. And the people in the hood wouldn't have never knew. They thought I was just a light brown skinned black dude. And if I was, but I wasn't. I was part Filipino. So it was like they didn't know that. But I got a lot of hate. I got jealousies, here and there. You know what I'm saying? But I got love too. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny because I connected with Asian people very easily. That's what's so funny about vibration. It don't lie. Like I was cool with these Crips, like from the gang Crips. They was Asian Crips, and they embraced me, man. Jonathan Kidd, Nook, and June. It was four of them. It was four Crips that embraced me. That's why to this day, if I had to choose between Crips and Bloods, I'm gonna go with Crips because my family, I had friends that was Crips. You know what I'm saying? And so that's usually how it happens. Friends, neighborhood. That's what it's based off of. It really ain't based off of preference. It's really based off of what hood you come in and and friends you befriend and your homies. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was Crips that was friends of mine that made me, loyal to Crips. That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even a preference. You know what I'm saying? And so that's basically what it was. But I always connected. I connected with the Asians. I had no problem with it. I fell right in line. But see, what it was I'm part Filipino. That was that extra vibe, that was cool between me and them. That's what it was. So, see, people stepped on the wrong toes. You didn't know I was part Filipino. You thought, and and now you can tell my personality, because the different ethnicities is going to make your personality. Okay, this dude is a straight up hardcore black Filipino. Okay, now I can see the Filipino part. It's not that you don't take it seriously, but okay, I didn't really know what that was, but now I can see. Because now that you told me you part Filipino, it makes sense to me. How you move, how you carry yourself. That makes sense. Yeah. If I tell you I'm part black and Filipino, you going to see how I carry. You going to take seriously how I carry myself a little differently. You're going to take it seriously. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. Can I explain it? I mean, that's just not about talking about arming yourself and everything. It's everything. It's everything. You're going to take me more seriously as a vibration if I tell you fully who I am. It's going to make more sense to you. If now you look at me in my face and you see a black and a Filipino man, okay, boom. That's going to make more sense to you. How I carry myself and everything, and how I talk, how everything. It's going to all make sense to you. You know what I mean? So, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? You listen to these okie dokes out here. They don't know me. They don't know me from a can of paint. Let's keep that in mind. All they've been doing is follow me around like clowns. That's it. They don't know me. They don't know nothing about me. They don't know nothing about me, bruh. Yeah, man. You don't let these lames come out here acting like they know people and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? You a sucker, man. That's all it is to it. I call it how I see it. I've been around gangbangers, Crips. You know what I'm saying? These dudes was real though. I don't care what you say about Bloods and Crips from different ethnicities, because that's a subject in itself. When you start talking about Crips and Bloods outside of black people, that's a subject in itself. When you got white Crips, white Bloods, white people, that's Bloods and Crips. That's a different subject in itself, but it's out there. It's out there for sure. But I can say, with Asian Crips, they was 100. They was not nothing to play with. You could tell they was real and they was dangerous. You know what I'm saying? I could just tell. Now that I look back, they was 100. And they befriended me, man. You know what I'm saying? It really helped me through middle school, because that was middle school. That camaraderie that I got from the Crips, it really got me through middle school past the ignorance and the rejection that I got from some black people. That embrace from these Asian Crips, because they didn't embrace the people in my hood. Like, it was certain people in Bradford, like they didn't. These Asian Crips didn't really talk to them and open up to them. They might have shook their head at them and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't really embrace them. You know what I'm saying? They ain't. And if they caught wind of how they treated me, they definitely didn't embrace them. You know what I'm saying? So but I stayed cool with them, the Crips, to like high school. I think I seen June, one of the girls, June in high school. Yeah, I think it was June. It was June and Nook. Nook looked Hawaiian. She looked like she was Hawaiian. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful. And but they were all Crips, man. They was Laos Crips. Laos Crips, yep. And so they all befriended me. They gave me a hug, like the female. You know what I'm saying? They were all homies. They wasn't really dating each other. They were all just homies, Crips. You know what I'm saying? Even the boys and the girls, they was not dating each other. They were just homies, from what I seen. I didn't see anything, no relationships going on between them four people. No. But she hugged me when I was in high school and everything. See but she wasn't like that with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't. The Crips, the Asian Crips wasn't. And they was in my hood too. They wasn't like that with everyone else, because they seen the ignorance of people. You know what I'm saying? I sat back, I was cool. You know what I'm saying? I met everybody, and it was cool. It was love. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's how it was. But one thing I would say while I'm on the subject of Crips and Bloods, like I've always said before, there's a lot of fake chapters of Crips and Bloods, and that's something I have a problem with. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of people that these Bloods and Crips sets didn't get certified by California. Crips and Bloods is a California gang. It's not a New York gang. It's not a Chicago gang. Crips and Bloods is a New York, LA gang, Los Angeles gang. That's like how you need to hear it. It is a local California gang from California. It's a gang in Los Angeles. That's what it is. So for me, my idea is that it's a lot of fake Crip sets and Blood sets that was fake Crips and Bloods, because they didn't have anybody from California that certified them sets. Whole Crip set, whole blood set, and nobody certified it from California. So how you a real blood if you ain't got certified from California? That's a California gang. So if you ain't connected to that bloodline, no pun intended, how y'all real bloods? Make it make sense. You just made it up. Somebody among you just decided to be a blood or decided to be a Crip. But you didn't have the actual people that come from LA on real Crips and blood sets come over here in the South or in the East Coast or in New York or Chicago. They ain't solidify them sets. They didn't authenticate them sets. You just made it up. You just decided to be a Crip or a blood. Somebody in your neighborhood decided to be Crips and Bloods. That's how I look at it. And people from California, I feel like they should have been said something about that. All these fake Crip and Blood sets all throughout New York. These dudes talking about they Bloods and man, but I guarantee you among you, nobody was a California blood. You ain't find no Bloods from California that certified that set. If you don't, that's a fake set to me. But I don't care. You could be real, you real, but the set ain't real. That's what you gonna have behind. Oh, well, I'm real. Okay, I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning you making up a fake set, a fake blood set. You making up a fake Crip set. That's what I'm questioning. I'm not questioning what. That's the reason why you got as far as you did, because people see you real. You know what I'm saying? But real, but you're fraudulent when it comes to from the set of a Crip set or a blood set. It's not a real set. And some Crips and Bloods did come from California, and they did certify certain sets. That's the only ones I really acknowledge. That's the only ones I acknowledge as a real certified Crip set. And it's just as bad as somebody saying they in the gang and they ain't in the gang. What's the difference? You got people that make up fake Crip sets, fake blood sets, but you ain't had nobody certify you from California. Ain't nobody come from there and say California made this set, said yeah, we linked up with them. We linked up with somebody from and they migrated a lot. They migrated. I would think in the 90s especially, they migrated from different from LA. You know, probably because of stuff they was going through in LA. And they migrated to different cities, right? Okay, I can see they recruited you because they was migrating or whatever. But if you just made it up in your room, you just like other people in the South that started gangs, that just started up gangs or whatever. You know, they ain't no different. But I respect the person that started a gang than the person that make up a fake Crip set or blood set. Because that's how it all started. Bloods had to start somewhere. Crips had to start somewhere. It had to start somewhere. So it's nothing wrong with starting the gang. It's nothing fraudulent about starting a gang. That's nothing fraudulent. I mean, Crips had to start somewhere. Bloods had to start somewhere. But what's more fraudulent is actually, in all actuality, you saying you a Crip set, a blood set, but California, which is a local California gang, you know, they didn't come over here and solidify a lot of these sets. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You can be real all day. That's what's gonna get people. You could be 100 all day, but you got a fraudulent set. It's a fraudulent Crip set and blood set. Now, if it was these days, these young kids that start gangs these days, these young dudes that start gangs these days, they gonna want a bag if you go take their name off their gang. If you take their name off their gang, if a young group, let's just say from Chicago, because they also have in Chicago they own gangs, right? If you use their name in your group, right? If you use the name of the gang, right? They gonna want a bag off of you using the name of the gang. These young dudes see you, oh yeah, he's saying he 64 set or whatever. Hold up. They say they 64 set. They ain't 64 set now. We want a bag off that because they said they was 64 set as a gang, right? And these kids wouldn't let you ride these days for that. No, they gonna want a bag. So in other words, if Crips and Bloods came out today, they gonna want a bag. They gonna want a bag off of you saying you a Crip or a Blood. They gonna want a bag off that. And if they don't get a bag, it's gonna be a problem. They gonna come and tax you anyway. You gonna have a problem with them anyway. But I guess Crips and Bloods seen it as flattery for why they let it go as far as it did. They let it go as far as it did because of the flattery of it and everything. And dudes was 100 probably. They looked at that and said, okay, the dude he 100, he done did felonies, everything like that. We gonna let it go because they real, okay? But that's the trickery, man. You know, you start selling a little crack, you start shooting around little guns, you know what I'm saying? You real, but the gang is fraudulent. I mean, I think it happened with young people because back in the 90s, everybody was infatuated with the Bloods and the Crips. Everybody and their mama. You know what I'm saying? It was a phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? It's never gonna be two gangs like them ever again. Ain't nobody can compare them to, and nobody can do it like they did it. It ain't gonna never be the same energy from no gangs that it was with Crips and Bloods. It's just history. That's what it is. And people wanted to be down with that. You know what I'm saying? And they wanted to be down with LA and other cities, New York, Chicago. You know, that's understandable. But when you become grown men, that's when I hold you accountable. If you a kid, okay, you know what I'm saying? But when you a grown man and you telling me you down with a set, you know what I'm saying? And you active. You saying you active with this set, right? Or you with this or with that or with this location, that location. But that ain't certified. As a grown man, nah, I got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I said, when you as kids, we all was infatuated with Bloods and Crips and all of that. And the whole gang phenomenon. And we was infatuated with some of these cities like LA, Chicago, New York. We was all infatuated with these cities. But when you go longer than normal in this infatuation, and you know what I mean, as a whole set, because the set is beyond an age. A set is just too long for something to be going on, and it ain't certified. You know what I mean? I can see a youngin out there. Okay, that's young. But this set is how old? Crip set, Blood set, how old is it? 15, 20 years? Okay, who certified that 20 years ago? So I'm pretty sure somebody here was an adult. So you became a grown man with a fake Blood set and fake Crip set? It's not humbling of a man. It's not becoming of a man. Okay, I give kids a pass for all of that. Because of the infatuation, kids, you know, that's what it is. But a grown man, nah, you know what I'm saying, you gotta let it all go. All that exaggeration that you was doing with all these gangs and stuff. When you become a grown man, you just let it fly off of you. You gotta let it go. But I mean, usually you would, because you gonna kind of go down the path of just doing real crimes. So for most Southern dudes that was infatuated with gangs, once we started doing real crimes, we didn't care about a gang anymore, because now we doing crimes. That's how it happened for most Southern dudes. Once you start doing crimes, you forgot all about this little infatuation you had with gangs, because now you done got in with your community and your family doing crimes, and you done got down with the community, and that reality wasn't gangs. So you just kind of got down with the community, you in the Southern community in the South, and it wasn't a gang. You know, it was just selling crack or whatever. You just got down with that. That just became the thing you kind of represented. That's how you get it off of you. That's how you grow it off of you in the South. You know what I'm saying? You just get down, and once you get down, that's it. You know, you become the person that you actually looked up to. You got the heart of that person, them people you used to look up to. You know? But the best thing to do is to refine this as a soldier. Because one thing I think that Thug Nation as a group, Thug Nation represents all criminals nationwide. What happened with Thug Nation is they didn't have a leader. Tupac was basically almost like the leader of Thug Nation. That's my point of view. You know what I'm saying? He said on one of them songs, he said, "Thug love for my nationwide posse." You know what I'm saying? But he was the closest one that everybody would have accepted for being the leader of Thug Life. You know, Thug Nation, Criminal Nation. You know what I'm saying? At least it's definitely as far as black people go, he definitely would have been the leader of Thug Nation. You know, but where Thug Nation failed, you know, and this ain't Tupac's fault, but where they failed was they didn't realize who the enemy was. You know what I'm saying? They didn't get mobilized to fight for our rights and to fight for better conditions in America, and for people to take black people seriously that were real criminals. You know what I'm saying? No differently than the mafia. You know they got taken seriously because they was criminals. Everybody know that. You know, everybody know that's why they got taken seriously. So Thug Nation should have been kind of like a mob that got better. I'm not condoning it, but they could have got better. If black people had a mob, we would have got more rights. We would have got taken more seriously, because we would have had our people all around in different parts of the community, and we wouldn't have been suffering with so much racism if we had aggressive authorities that enforced on those who opposed, you know. But that's what happened to me with Thug Nation. They failed because they didn't identify the enemy. It's like, okay, now it's almost like military. Once we fought out here in the streets, now we can make our own militias. We did that. You did tours in the streets, whatever. Let's just put it like that. Then now you regrouped, and now you formed your own worldviews and everything. You kind of grew up to form your own worldviews past all the things you've done and the mistakes you made, and now you can mobilize this group of people with a whole bunch of heart. A whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of heart that it was never mobilized and pulled together. And they didn't want it to be pulled together. That's why the East and the West, as far as the streets, they wanted us to be divided. That's why they watch anybody that's nationwide. Anybody that's nationwide, they're going to watch me, they're going to watch you, because they consider you some type of threat. Because you moved around too much. You done moved me, I done been to California, to New York, I done been down south. And they hate that because now you see the full picture of what America is. You can't tell me about America. That's one thing you can't do. And I done seen different types of ghetto from state to state. So it's you could say it's almost like divide and conquer. Okay, if I divide you, you're gonna be conquered. You know what I'm saying? If I don't bring New York with the West Coast, I don't bring that together. Besides business and money, I'm talking on ground level. You know, we never was together on ground level. You know, when it comes to business and money, okay, yeah, they got endeavors and things from West Coast to New York to down south, but not on the ground level. You haven't mobilized all the soldiers, the foot soldiers, to be together nationwide on ground level. And so then what do you have? You know, you don't really have anything. You know what I'm saying? That's what needed to be done. You know what I'm saying? But because once you find somebody that's nationwide, man, I don't know how to describe it. You become the full animal that you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why Pac he was the full animal. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was from New York. He was born. Let's not forget, Pac was born in New York. That's something not pointed out a lot among his fans, but he was born in New York City. Okay, he was born here. What that tells you everything you need to know. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with that being said, you know, he came over here. He know what it was about. He kind of know. He showed that he knew what New York was about. He was East Coast with Baltimore and everything like that. And he shot an off-duty cop in Atlanta. So, you know, and obviously he was West Coast. So, you know, man, if he would have lived, man, he would have been down with Chicago. He would have been down with everywhere. He would have just started being with everybody, man. That's why, man. It's so much regret with Tupac and Biggie, man. It's just so much regret. It ain't even funny, man. It's just sickening, man. I hate to think about it. It's just so much regret because that's me as a spiritual person, man. It's just sickening to me, man. We can't ever get that back. That energy like that person like, man. We'll never get nobody like that again, man. It ain't gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just the whole package, man. Just the charisma, and what I'm saying is, he lived in New York and L.A. I mean, he know about New York and L.A. and you could tell, you could see both sides. You know what I'm saying? If you pay attention, you could see both sides in Tupac, not just West Coast. You could how much he talked. That's New York. I mean, all that. L.A. dudes don't really talk like Tupac talked. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the East Coast that made him how he was talking like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's part of it. You know what I'm saying? The heart he had, hardcore, like the West Coast. That's the West Coast. That heart he had. You know, man, you ain't gonna never get nobody like that, man. That's why, man, we just don't understand, man. You know, once people are gone, once people like that go, it's over, man. It's over. I get disgusted. I really do. Ain't nobody alive now that realized who Tupac was, would want him dead. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would want him here. You know what I'm saying? If we could bring one person back, Tupac would probably be in the top 100 for sure. Definitely. Of black people of all time that we could bring back. Malcolm X and MLK would be another two. You know? Yeah. Some would say that's the top 3 right there. Oh, Biggie too. You know, with the music, you know, cause Biggie, the thing about music-wise, as far as Biggie, Tupac put out way much more music. So we got to kind of see how Tupac was musically. And we didn't get to see how Biggie was really musically. Like behind a whole bunch of different beats, a whole bunch of different themes, and another album. Just imagine another album, what it would have looked like. Another Biggie album. Or maybe like 2 or 3 albums from, how about 2 or 3 more albums? How would that have been? It would have been insane. The lyrics, the beats, all of that. I just hate it. Man. That's one of the biggest upsets of all time. Pac and Biggie, man. And Biggie, because he ain't really put out that much music like Tupac did. Remind you, Pac had all them albums, all them different albums and everything. You know, way before Biggie and him had a problem. Or he had a problem with Biggie, right? Way before that, Pac had all them other albums. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He had all them other albums that have nothing to do with Biggie or whatever. Biggie didn't really have all them albums. But Biggie was like the most innocent in those situations. He was one of them, between Pac and Biggie, he was just so innocent, man. All he was a dude out here doing his music. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do nothing to Tupac. And he just got caught up in the whirlwind of the paranoia of Tupac. That's what it was. And the games that Tupac played after that and everything, and you know, acting like, you know, he had sex with Faith and all of this stuff and everything. It was, Tupac escalated that situation. That's facts. Yeah, he did. He escalated. He kept talking. You know, we hit him up. That's the escalation. You know what I'm saying? Acting like he had sex with Faith, and just was, you know, and Biggie was totally innocent. That's what I'm saying. Look at Biggie. He was totally innocent. Where was he wrong at? I can show you where Tupac was wrong. A million different places. But where Biggie was wrong. That's how I see it. Look how innocent he was in the whole situation. Just doing his music, just trying to do him. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoying life. Look at that. Look at that, man. Just enjoying life and everything. And it's this person, man. Like, man, you can't make this up, man. It's this person that's just antagonizing you like Pac was antagonizing Biggie. You know what I'm saying? It's just this person antagonizing you, and all you was doing, you done made it past the hood. You ain't got no problems with Brooklyn. You ain't got no problems in New York. You ain't got nobody that want to have a problem with you. It's just, that's why people look at it like it's the devil, man. Because, like, Biggie didn't have no problems with New York, no rappers in New York. Think about it. He didn't. Not really. Nothing. I didn't know about it. It probably was something here and there, but he ain't had no problems with nobody else. And then it was just Tupac that was just an antagonist, just antagonizing this dude, man. And he was innocent. That's how I look at it. He was an innocent person. That's why I feel like, as far as the art of war, Biggie won. Because, number one, he won because he outlived Tupac. He got to wake up, and we don't want to look at it for what it is. He got to wake up, eat food, drink, and realize, Tupac is dead. Now, is he going to say that on tape? No. But let's be 100. This person that's been antagonizing you, you know, saying all these things, saying he had sex with your woman, you gonna wake up, you know, Tupac's dead. Let me get a drink. Let me eat. He had many days. I'm eating, you know what I'm saying? I'm chilling. Tupac's dead. He won. You got to outlive your enemy. All this dude talking all this stuff, and you lived. You know what I'm saying? But you can't project that to the community. You can't project that, you know what I'm saying, that energy. But of course he felt that way. He woke up and he ain't had no enemies no more. Think about it. You're going to be like, you're going to be relieved. That's the word. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because, okay, they was friends or whatever, but it's bittersweet though. You know, that's the better way to describe it. It's bittersweet. You know what I mean? You're relieved, but you're relieved that there ain't no more Tupac antagonizing you, you know, but at the same time, that was your homie at one time, and you know, you think about him being dead and all of that. But he won as far as the art of war based on him outliving Tupac, and he won based on the art of war because he didn't use Tupac's name at any time in the song, and Biggie had brutal lyrics. You already see he was a battle rapper from the beginning when he was a kid out there on the block. If he would have used, this is something people don't talk about, if he would have used his MC skills directly against Tupac, he would have buried him. Tupac was not no battle MC like that. He could put out the threats of an LA rapper, California rapper, but if it would have came down to bars and wittiness and everything, and Biggie could have concentrated all his skills on Tupac and it would have been over. Oh, that's right. All them bars and everything, Biggie, all that clever rhymes and lyrics and everything. If he would have added all of that, if he would have focused his whole attention on Pac, it would have been over. But he didn't do it. And that's why he won the art of war. He won as far as the rules of art of war. It was no paper trail where he was really saying that was his enemy, like the streets. He kept it street through all the way through, because he mentioned, it would have been no way the police would have been able to say that Biggie was against Tupac. He couldn't have said it. You couldn't have said it. But you could have said Tupac was against Biggie. But you couldn't say that Biggie was involved with the same behavior. And I feel like he did it like that because he's from the streets. This dude is a actor. Tupac Shakur was an actor. You got to remember. He was on Juice and everything. Poetic Justice. So do I take him seriously as a street dude, or is he an actor? That's what I would have thought if I was Biggie, especially coming from New York. Is this an actor? Is this real? You know, because it's the same dude we watched on Juice with Omar Epps, and we watched him on Poetic Justice with Janet Jackson. I mean, do I battle this dude in real life or what? That's what I would have looked at it as. Is this? Am I gonna face a lawsuit if I say something about this dude? Am I gonna face lawyers? And look, nobody will ever know, man, because Tupac, after all, was an actor, a movie star. You got to remember, Tupac was a movie star. If Biggie, what if Biggie came just right at him on that MC level? You don't think he would have got sued or something? If he was real good, I don't know, man, because Pac had these movie managers too. Think about it. These agents, movie agents. He did. And what they gonna tell him? Oh, that's not good. All this stuff going on. We'll never know how it would have been, the response that would have came from Biggie's side, Pac's side, if Biggie would have responded with just MCing, because he was more of an MC than Pac. I'm talking about what you expect in the MC. The bars, the wittiness, all of that. Tupac gave good stories and heartfelt stories and things. But MCing, Biggie was more of an MC. And if Biggie would have came on the track and just used all that wittiness and colorful, that colorful vision, and just looked at Tupac and used as much against him as he could, he would have buried Tupac lyrically. That's facts. But he didn't do it. Cause I feel like, man, I just give points to Biggie for being more of a street dude, because Biggie was looking at it like, man, I know this dude. I know him. This is a homie. I chill with this dude. How am I gonna be acting like, be fake and be acting like me and him against each other? How am I do that? That's fake. That's why Biggie maintained the same mentality. He said he stepped to Tupac and said, yo, what is this all about? Pac said, oh, I'm just trying to sell records. That's the most lamest Tupac moment of all times. That's what Biggie said out his mouth. And I believe everything he said out his mouth. Absolutely. Biggie said, Pac said, oh, I'm just trying to sell records. That's a lame statement. When you saying all this hit 'em up stuff and everything, and then when the dude confronts you, you say, oh, I'm just trying to sell records. That's the lamest moment. That's the lamest moment right there. So, I respect Biggie for actually confronting him and everything, all of that, man. You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine Biggie New York friends? He ain't getting no stories about it. Think about it. All his friends heard, oh yeah, you confronted Tupac? What'd he say? Man, you ain't gonna believe it. You know what I'm saying? You know how Biggie giving stories. Man, dude talking about he trying to sell records. What do you mean trying to sell? Oh, he said it wasn't nothing. Basically, he said it wasn't nothing. He was trying to sell records. Oh, dude acting like he got all this. Can you imagine all the New York dudes around Biggie? Oh, he acting like he got all this beef and smoke. He want all this beef with you. But then when you confront him, he talking about he trying to sell records. Wow. You done confronted this dude. Yeah, I was right there. I was right there with him. I was right there in his face. I asked him what it was all about. He talking about he trying to sell records. Man, I can't believe that. Can you imagine all Biggie homies? Can you imagine that? That's what I'm saying, man. See, that's the part that's not emphasized the most. That's what I look at, because I'm gonna look at it on street street rules and regulations. You know what I'm saying? You know, somebody confronts you and then you say you don't stick to your guns. You say you just trying to sell records. That means you just doing all this for record sakes or for publicity. That's the part that people don't want to talk about. See, Tupac should have stayed in his lane, and he should have just evened out in his lane. I'm not saying he wasn't no real dude, but you can see that he didn't really have them street principles intact like many of us do. Like on everything. Tupac didn't have street. This is what you need to think about. Tupac didn't have street regulations and rules on everything he did. No, he didn't. He ain't have street rules and regulations on everything he did. No, he didn't. He told Biggie, he said he had sex with Biggie's wife. He didn't. We call that lying on your penis in the South. You lying on your penis. A real dude ain't gonna do that. No, that's number one. Number two, when Pac When Biggie confronted Pac on Rules and Regulations, somebody say, what is all of this about? You're going to say, man, you know what it's about, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, me and you, ain't no love. You know what I'm saying? Even, that's what I expect Pac to say. Oh, it ain't no love. You know what it's about. Ain't no need to talk to me about it. Pac gonna say, I'm just trying to sell records. Can you even imagine that coming out of his mouth? That's what I'm saying. You can't even imagine that coming out of Pac's mouth. Oh, I'm just trying to sell records. Oh, I'm just trying to sell records, bruh. I'm just trying to sell records. No, I'm just trying to sell records. You see that? Now, would you take him seriously if you was Biggie? No, you wouldn't. I confronted you, and then you say you were trying to sell records. That's the end. The end. You mentioned the music industry. The end. We ain't talking about no street stuff no more. You just said out your own mouth you were trying to sell records. Boom. That's all you gotta say to me. I'm done. I won. That's how I see it. Biggie won as far as the art of war, and that's facts. That's facts. That's fact. You gotta remember, Pac went to school, the School of Arts in Baltimore with Jada Pinkett, right? Okay, so Pac understood drama. He understood literally drama and how to make a story. So I feel like Tupac was trying to live out this story he made of himself. Remind you, he did movies. Like I said, he was a movie star. Tupac molded this image, and it was perfect. He knew what he was doing. He molded this tough guy, black gangster image that he wanted to be, and he stuck to it till he died. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wanted right there to be. He wanted to be that person. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it was not authentic, but it's more like when you're more super focused, not being natural like the rest of us, that you get into these situations where you catch a collision. You get a collision because you're trying to stick to this certain persona, and that's what most of us wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? You see, that's how he died, because he stuck to this persona that he was trying to stick to. Make sense? And that's the cautionary tale. Tupac made this person up. Remind you, he's an actor. It makes perfect sense. He made this. He figured out who he wanted to be, what he wanted, how he wanted to be, and he lived it. He lived it. But you got to take points off for how super intentional it was for you wanting to live this certain persona instead of being really natural and organic. It wasn't as organic as it came off. You know what I mean? No, it wasn't. It wasn't that organic. And me knowing that Tupac went to the School of Arts and was a movie actor, he just formed this Tupac image. That's what it was, and he stuck to it. He stuck to it in everything he did. When most of us are just, how we move is principles. We don't stick to no persona. It's just we move on principle. We move on rules and regulations, and that brings out the person. That brings out the best of us or the worst of us, based on rules and regulations. That is what it is. Based on rules and regulations, that brings out the best or the worst of us. That's why I exclude anybody that can't talk rules and regulations. If you can't talk that, who are you as a street person? You got to be able to talk rules and regulations. And you got to also be able to apply it where it really matters. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. And with Tupac and Big, he lied about having sex with Faith. He told Biggie he was trying to sell records. I can't see a street dude saying that. I'm just trying to sell records. That's what it is. Yeah, I would have took any other excuse, man. I'm mad, man. I'm mad about this. I'm mad about, man. I feel like you robbed me or whatever, man. I feel like you set me up. That's what it's about. That would have been the best excuse, man. I feel like you set me up that day when I went up there and got robbed or whatever, or these dudes came in on me. Some people say he shot himself. They just don't want to destroy the Tupac image. But a lot of people say, like Funk Master Flex said, that Tupac shot himself. That's where I heard it from. I heard Funk Master Flex say Tupac shot himself. He set the record straight. You know what I'm saying? I never heard it, but then I heard it from Funk Master Flex, being up here in New York. You know, and I kind of believe that. I do. I mean, but then look at how Tupac was acting like he got shot and took shots and came out. All this stuff resurrected. That wasn't even real. If what Funk Master Flex said, that he shot himself, that means all that talking about he got shot and took shots, when he said that about Nas on Against All Odds, Nas said he lied like me, went to the hospital, took 5 like me, some stuff like that. That would be fake if he shot himself, because that's what he's referring to. He's referring to that time when he was up there. If I'm right or wrong now, it wasn't no other time Pac got shot, right? So that was shots enter his body, right? Okay, so he will be referring to the time when he went to the studio and he said Nas think he lied like him. Because he took shots like me, but he didn't. If he didn't, look how fraudulent that was. But you can't take away from him his charisma and his intellect. That's what I will say about Tupac. His charisma and his intellect, you can't take that away from him. When he was talking about all the other stuff, even Donald Trump, he was ahead of everybody. Biggie wasn't really talking about all these different things. You know what I'm saying? Biggie was more of a street dude to me. He focused on street movements. That's what he was doing. He was out there in the streets. Pac was all in Hollywood, everything, you know, Madonna, everything like that. That's what I'm saying. He was a superstar. Facts. That's facts, right? And you know, but you can't take away from him that he was intellectual and that he could have been a great leader for us. But I learned from that. When you know who you are as a leader, don't get caught up in ignorance. Like the difference between me and Pac, I don't stick to roles. I don't start problems with people. People start problems with me. That's the difference. Like Biggie, I'm more like Biggie than Pac in these situations, because I'm sitting back and people starting problems with me. I'm in these situations because of other people. I ain't got nothing to do with this stuff. Just like Biggie didn't have nothing to do with Pac, with all the stuff Pac was doing crazy and acting wild and crazy and stuff. It's the same situation, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing to do with this. You know what I'm saying? Just like Biggie. I'm more like Biggie than Pac, if you ask me. I'm a combination, because I'm a Gemini, just like both of them. Biggie and Pac was Geminis. I'm a Gemini too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you can say I got that Pac and Big side, but you know what I mean? But Biggie just was innocent, man. You know what I'm saying? Like me right now, man, like I said, I don't start problems with people. People start problems with me and I finish it. That's what I'm doing. That's all there is to it. It ain't no other way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm supposed to defend myself and I'm charismatic and intellectual like Pac. But at the same time, I'm innocent like Biggie, and I'm just defending myself sitting back. I'm going to stand my ground. You know what I'm saying? That's what Biggie did. Biggie still stood his ground, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do that too. You know what I'm saying? But it's an art to it, you know what I'm saying? Where you ain't out here corny, you know what I'm saying? In all in the limelight, all out here in the streets and everything, talking and everything. I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it where I win and I get points for Art of War. You know what I'm saying? Like that you're not gonna get, because I'm gonna sit back and let you do all the yapping and talking, all the underhanded talking, man. And everybody gonna see the world changing, all this stuff happening in the world and everything, and they gonna give it to me. They gonna salute me, and that's a checkmate. That's how you do it. See, I learned. I watched the Art of War with Biggie and Pac and other people, other countries, everything. It's all the Art of War. It's chess. Just like right now with Trump wanting to help Iran. The only reason he wanted to help Iran because he wanted to destroy the Iran regime. That's all it is. He don't care nothing about it. If you watch the pattern of way that Trump plays chess, is he just steps in and destroys enemies, but it looks like he want to help you. He looks like he's helping people, but he just want to destroy other enemies. You can look at Venezuela like that. You can look at Ukraine with him helping Ukrainians, and everything with America. With America helping, it's they chest out. You know what I'm saying? It's they chest out. But Trump plays that position too. And how we know for sure, you could look at Iran. That's the only reason he want to do. He want to help them. He really got the heart to help them? I do not believe that. I believe what is influencing the situation more is good for. He feels it's good for the world to just get rid of that leadership, to get rid of what the threat that Iran is to America. That's it. Boom. That's it right there. He want to get rid of the threat that Iran is to America. So all I'm gonna do is let you hang yourself. And soon as you do something and you make a wrong move in chess, I'm gonna get you, and people ain't gonna know why I did it. They ain't gonna know the real reason why I did it, because you made a mistake. If you make a mistake, Sun Tzu taught this in the Art of War. The best warriors, and I'm paraphrasing, make no mistakes. You win by making no mistakes. With Iran, they making mistakes. If they make any mistakes with playing with these people, all America's gonna do is take advantage of it and destroy one of their biggest threats. That's all. That's chess. That's chess. That's not concern. That's chess. And even the population of Iran don't know it's chess. He don't care about them people. No. All he cares about is destroying a potential threat that Iran is to America. And he gonna take advantage of their mistakes. That's chess. Tell me it's not. Tell me that's not chess. I know chess when I see it. Some people don't know how to play. You play checkers. I play chess. I let you make all your moves. Like even these secret societies against me, now everybody's on my side. I let you make all the moves. Now everybody's on my side. While I'm playing a position of intellect as a messenger. Like ODB said on the Tales of the Hood soundtrack, I come back as an intellectual, intelligent, positive messenger. You know what I'm saying? And you know, and so, you know, by the time people peep it for what it is, they gonna give me my salute and respect and credibility, and they can't be mad because they would do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? You let suckers spin their wheels. Let them do what they do. They gonna hang themselves. That's all they gonna do. That's why we just gotta practice discipline. You know what I'm saying? And let them say whatever they want to say, because the truth is, everything they talk about ain't doing nothing out there. It ain't going nowhere out there. It ain't affecting nothing out there. And everything we doing is affecting everything out there. You know, starting off with me with the child marriage laws, I'm affecting everything. They marrying children in America, but they talking about pedophiles. I win. Checkmate. That's it. I don't gotta do nothing else. I don't gotta talk about nothing else about you. See, I play chess. See, now you get it. That's why I go with rules and regulations. And ultimately, when you play chess, it may look like you're doing a lot of talking, right? But when the right people come in and measure your chess moves, they gonna voucher for you, and you gonna catch all the way back up to a good place in society by playing chess as opposed to checkers. Because once people come back and check my moves, they gonna take it seriously. Okay, they marrying children, America marrying children. Okay, he won right there. That's checkmate. They can't talk nothing about no pedophiles. Okay, they talking about animals having sex with animals. Okay, y'all had 4 states that had sex with animals, and you still got West Virginia. West Virginia is still actively having sex with animals. Okay, glory to God for this information. Okay, so you can't even talk about bestiality with a straight face to an educated man like me. Because I'm going to show you how your country got one state. So put one state against one case of bestiality. What you going to go with? One state or one case? They got one state, a whole state that's having sex with animals. So who wins? I do. You got a whole state active against animals, having sex with animals. Checkmate, buddy. One state versus one person, I win. We ain't trying to hear that either. Right or wrong. That's why I play chess and you lose. Ain't nothing else to talk about. And And that's chess, buddy. That's what I'm saying. And that could cost you your life if you think it's a game. Man, if I tell a head honcho, America's marrying children. They also have sex with animals in West Virginia. That's a whole state. So whose side you on? Mine, they're talking about whatever they're talking about, and they couldn't even detail this. They got no details to it. It's just a subject matter. No details, though. They can't tell you the details. I can tell you the details where it's a whole state that's having sex with animals. Whose side you gonna be on? Mine, of course. They got a whole state actively having sex with animals. That's checkmate, buddy. And that's how it's done. It's over with like that. Ain't nothing else to talk about. What else you want to talk about? What else? Ain't nothing else, man. Ain't nothing else. That's what I'm saying. It just been over. Based on that, it's been over. You want me to tell you how long it's been over? It's been over since 2019, man. This is how much arrogance I had to work through. I had to work through 6 years of arrogance. It's been over. It's been over. Based on the real reality of your country, it's been over. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why, like, man, listen, man, that's why I'm telling you, this is the declaration, spiritual declaration of spiritual warfare against these Americans, man. And it ain't gonna change. You know what I'm saying? People need to realize, man, this is chess. This is not no game. All these little clowns out here, people using their children, your children, you need to tuck your children inside. You need to get your children out in the house. Yeah, that part, yeah. You need to get your children in the house. Stop playing out here in the field with these children. Yeah, y'all need to get y'all children in the house, buddy. This ain't no game. This ain't no cartoon. I ain't like them some of these Americans walking around here half boy, half man. All that, no. I like to have fun. I'm a funny person. That's part of being a good, charismatic black man. Okay, but being out here as a boy on boy principles, thinking like a boy as far as principles. See, what separates you from boys, you don't think like boys as far as principles. Okay? I think like a man when it comes to principles. If you're marrying children, it's over. Checkmate. Checkmate, buddy. A boy think he can keep going. He think he can keep going, don't he? Now you see what I'm saying. See, you just didn't equate me to the Pox and the Biggs and the Malcolm X's and the MLK. I play chess, buddy. I don't get this reputation for being a boy, a chump, and now you know. And ain't no way in the world you can marry children talking about pedophiles. That's checkmate, buddy. That's checkmate for the whole community. You can't come back from it, and ain't nothing you can do. That's what a checkmate is when you can't do nothing. You don't get to do nothing after the checkmate, buddy. You don't have a next move after the checkmate that we take seriously after the checkmate. We don't take none of your moves seriously after this checkmate. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Okay then. That's it. That's all. That's all. Ain't nothing else to talk about. We ain't trying to do no more talking about it. That's it, because I won. Ain't nothing else to talk about. If anything, the only thing left to talk about is my money, my bag. Now you see why I belong in New York. Now you see why God will bring me here. Because God knows I got the backbone to stay here and to win here. Why you act like I came here to die? You know how you got them type. I really? You think I came here to die when I got all these checkmates? God already knew. God already knew what type of man I am, what kind of soldier I am. He knew everything that I'm doing right now would happen. Everything. Even down to this video. God already knew everything that was going to happen, buddy. Glory to his name. Glory to his name. God knew I could handle this position. He put me in. And I showed you now. Now, look at you. Look at all these people that oppose me. Listen, buddy, the position you put yourself in destroyed you. You destroyed yourself with your position. And ain't nobody gonna save you. Ain't nobody gonna help you. Cause here's the biggest problem. What you did, you went too long with what you did. You did it too long. That's what you did. We ain't giving no mercy for that. And that's the last checkmate. Because you did what you did for too long. If you had started 2-3 months ago, I might have even would have forgiven it. I probably would have let it go. 2 or 3 months, okay, it's over. I checkmate, I won. Boom. Okay, I let it go. Years, you did this for years. You did this for years, it's unforgivable, bro. That's it. That's all. And that's the last checkmate. You did it for so long, you still deserve something to happen to you. Why you talking about forgiveness and not whatever else you talking about? You still deserve something to happen to you. That hasn't happened yet. So that's why it's non-emotional. It's not emotional. It's just a matter of fact. It's war. It's chess. And it's not me being a bitter person or a butthurt person or a person with malicious intent. That's checkers. That's low-level dudes. You know what I'm saying? This is chess. You went too far into playing chess to now to try to renege out the situation when it get hard for you. Now all of a sudden you want to renege out the situation. Come on, man. You should be more of a man than that. Die like a man. Just die like a woman or a man. Yeah, man. Come on, man. The worst thing you can do is die like a chump. I can't even stand punks. I can't stand punks, and I don't even want to be in the ring with them. I don't respect them at all. At least you could die like a man. Because once you get old enough, I mean, you get around our age, you realize you're going to die anyway. So now you start planning your own death. How you going to die? You going to die like a chump? You going to die like that? You going to die like this? Man. And once you dead, you dead. And once your name is in the ground, it's in the ground. You going to die like a chump like that. You might as well, listen, that's what I'm saying. You might as well just go ahead. I would die with honor. I'd rather just go ahead and die. Now, I'm not saying me per se, but if I was you, nah. All you doing is making it worse. That's all you doing. The best thing you can do is get a bag. That's what I would have did. See, I feel like, this is where I feel like the street should come in. The street should tell these type of people right here that look up to the street, because they look up to y'all. They don't look up to me. They look up to you. Right? They look up to the streets, right? Won't y'all tell them how at times you got to pay that bag, bruh? You got to pay that bag sometimes. It don't matter if you the toughest gangster in the world. If you make a mistake that puts your family in jeopardy, right? You can't come out here playing chicken with people and people blow your children away and blow your family away. So you get the bag not because you can't get away, because your family can't get away. You can't save all your family. You can't save everybody you love. That's why you go get the bag. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? You go get the bag. That's how we know who head honchos and who's not. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about money for what you done. That's how we know you ain't no head honchos. It's all fabricated. Because when it comes down to it, listen, buddy, this is exactly where you are. You know where you are? Where you owe a bag. That's where you at. Go ask any street person. That's where you at, buddy. And you can ask the police. The police gonna tell you that's where you at. You owe a bag. Let alone what you think you're doing something to me this Sunday morning. You can't be serious, bro. You're doing something to me. You can't be serious, bro. That's what I'm trying to show you. See, God makes sure his people overcome. Now, if you look at it from a spiritual place, you will understand why I overcame, why I'm on top. You know why I'm on top? Because I seek the Lord. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to be beneath you, struggling with understanding this, and other people struggling with understanding this. God going to shed light on it, and he going to put me above y'all. And you owe a bag. That's it. And, you know, the gangsters should just tell you, man, yo, sometimes, bro, you got to pay that bag. You got to pay that bag, man. It don't make you less of a gangster. It don't make you less of a street dude. You just, you know, you got family, okay? Look at even Training Day. Even though Training Day was a movie, look at Training Day. Denzel Washington, his character had to go get that bag. He could, with that arrogant character that he had, that character could have said, I ain't going to get nothing for the Russians. He owed the Russians a bag because he beat up one of the Russians and they was part of the mob, right? Everybody know that movie, Training Day, right? Okay, so easily that same arrogant person could have said, I ain't going to get nothing. Like you doing. I ain't getting nothing. Even he knew it was a real threat and there wasn't nothing he can do about it. So the whole movie consists of him going to get the bag for the Russians, and he got it too late. The woman pulled up beside him smoking a cigarette, threw him all the way off. That's real smart too. She lit a cigarette. You gonna think the person lit a cigarette, that's what they occupy with. It's gonna throw you off psychologically. And you're gonna see a beautiful woman. Between a beautiful woman and her lighting a cigarette, that's what threw him off. Two distractions. She just lighting a cigarette. Oh, she ain't nothing. Now if she was just sitting there alert looking at him, he might have got paranoid. But he was almost about to get the bag. He had to get the bag, and he died because he didn't get the bag. That was the end of his story in that movie. That's another example. You can't act like you so tough you don't get the bag. And if you do it for the streets, you're gonna do it for God's kingdom. That's what I'm trying to show you. And that's the punchline, and that's the checkmate. You're gonna either do it for God's kingdom, or you're gonna suffer like people suffer in the streets for not getting the bag, buddy. That's what it is. I'm putting money, I'm putting $1 million down there in Colombia. It's about to be over. It's about to be over, buddy. I'm on my job. That's what I'm saying. You play with the wrong person that's focused. You know what I'm saying? I ain't sitting around here eating and just hanging out, trying to go around and walk around Brooklyn and all that. I ain't trying to do that. I could. I ain't trying to do that. I'm on my job, buddy. You don't play with me. I get in the trenches. You owe me a bag.